Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to my channel and yours, Mike Shriver Ministries, right here on YouTube. I am still recovering, so I won't be talking a whole lot. Uh, Tomorrow, as long as my health is improved even more tomorrow, I'll be preaching my heart out. And in 1 week from tomorrow, I will be
Good afternoon,
launching.
everybody. Welcome back to my channel and yours, Mike Shriver Ministries.
I'll be launching my second channel. It is time, as the monkey in the Lion King said, it is time. And I am resurrecting my political news channel that I created 10 months ago, and it was up for 2 days. I took the advice of my pastor and another minister friend of mine, and I kept strictly Christian ministry only. But now we are only 115 subs away, 115 subs from 5,000. And I'll be able to separate. So we need 115 subs to hit 5,000. I want to be at 10,000 at the end of the year. And I think that if we recommend my ministry channel in the news channel, and that's as far as we take it, so that people aren't whining and moaning about God. Um, and I'm not talking about any people that are on God's side. I'm talking about people that just, they're just into the politics, and I am too. There's an old saying that says, "There's two things I don't discuss: politics and religion." Well, I love politics, but I love Christianity even more. The fullness of the truth, not this mumbo jumbo, once saved, always saved garbage. Um, Acts 2:38 or hell, take your pick. Uh, I never sugarcoat anything. I don't care about my ancestors being dead. They're dead. Stop worrying about your ancestors. They're already in the hands of a loving and merciful God. Decide what to do with. You're still alive, Crazor, Angela. Denise Kraus is in the house. Oh, man, I got like only 25% of my normal energy. Benjamin Kreitz, who will be live with me Sunday evening at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which would be 1 o'clock in the land of liberals, aka California, and their backwards way of thinking, and except for the conservatives that are there. So my new channel, which will launch from a week from Friday, and here's the link, is called the Christian Conservative Voice, strictly politics and news. Mike Shriver Ministries will always take precedent over that. My ministry is the most important thing to me. Everything else is just secondary. God first, politics and news second. And I am an American, so I'm not going to stick my hand in the sand. My head in the sand like an ostrich. I like ostriches, but I don't want to stick my head in. You can tell I'm still sick. I don't want to stick my head in the sand and act like nothing's happening either. We're in this world. We're not of this world. The Bible says. I understand that. I'm not, stupid. I wasn't born tomorrow. I'm pretty smart today. Um, and I don't think we should stick our head in the sand. So anyway, I digress. The Christian Conservative Voice. Thank you, Angela. Uh, Angela just put a link to it. Go subscribe. I want to start out with anywhere between 100 and 1,000 subscribers by next Friday. Um, but until next Friday, we will have politics and religion mixed, or Christianity. You know, Moses was all about religion. David was all about worship. God respected both, but he loved David so much more than Moses. Form of worship. But that's a Bible study for another day. Yeah. So here we go, folks. We got Jesse Waters, and I'm not going to do a lot of talking today because I got to preserve my voice. My lungs aren't on fire. I think I peaked last night with this sickness. I had a fever last night that was pretty high, and every time I coughed, I wanted to scream for my mommy. She's been dead for 4 years. It hurt. And this morning, it's not nowhere near as bad. So I got some sleep, and the good Lord in heaven said, "Be healed." And healings aren't miracles, by the way. Healings take time. Miracles are instant. Okay. All right, here we go. Helm, warp 1, engage.
Prime time tonight.
And I haven't seen it or I haven't saw any of this, so I'm watching for the first time with you.
Are we close to a deal? Trump says we're getting the uranium.
We're dealing with people that want to make a deal very much, and we'll see whether or not they can make a deal that's satisfactory to us.
Is the tan suit here? I'm asking if the tan suit is here. A shattered nation looked up and saw that. When you look back at the tan suit, what occurs to you?
Why?
Barack sliding back into power.
Oh, boy.
But Michelle's pulling the plug.
I'm gonna try
Big
that
Mike.
with a rock.
Big Mike.
Don't bother
Big
me.
Mike.
I can't believe that on a stage with 30 minutes of interrupting and bickering and name-calling, that anyone wants to talk about my temperament.
You were actually interrupting them, too. I don't know why you want to act like you weren't.
The battle to save California.
It's not Donald Trump that's
funny.
given us the highest housing costs in the country. It's Democrat policies that all these Democrats support.
Plus,
What the hell is wrong with this machine?
Fox News alert. Do we have a deal?
We're doing well. Now we have to get what we have to get. If we don't do that, we'll have to go a big step further. But with that being said, they want to make a deal. We've had very good talks over the last 24 hours, and it's very possible that we'll make a deal.
The president says if they don't agree, the bombing starts at a much higher level and intensity than it was before.
Well, he's
now,
been
I know
saying
we've
that.
heard
So
that
when are
before.
we gonna get to it,
But
if we have
sources say
to?
an agreement has never been closer, and morale at the White House is through the roof.
I can tell you that I was walking around in and out of the building yesterday, seeing a lot of action in the Situation Room with negotiators, and it looked like the mood was high.
POTUS told PBS that the Iran war has a very good chance of ending, and told Fox that this could be wrapped up in a week.
Well, I had a phone call with the president a short time ago, and he is optimistic about this deal, this memorandum of understanding. Thinks it is going to lead to things. He's cautiously optimistic, I should say, but thinks. And I asked him what the time frame would be. He puts it at a week, getting everything wrapped up.
So what's in this deal? This is what we're hearing. Iran must swear off ever having or seeking a nuclear weapon. Cold turkey. Their 3 main nuke sites must be completely dismantled, and they can never do any work like this ever again underground. If they start digging, we start bombing. Inspections on demand, anytime, anywhere. If they throw up roadblocks, harsh penalties. Now, here's the key piece to the deal. No more enrichment, and they hand over all of their enriched uranium. We get it. Trump was asked, well, is this a 20-year moratorium? Trump said, no, never, no more enrichment ever. Iran must reopen the strait, and while they do, we'll relax the blockade. We might unfreeze some of their money, but no sanctions relief until they show they're complying with the deal. A part of the deal's already done.
This is very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon because as tough as they are, we want to keep them alive. We want to keep all of you alive. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't. And they've agreed to that, among other things.
This looks nothing like the Obama deal. Getting the uranium out, banning enrichment, destroying their nuke sites, none of that was in the Obama deal. And this is on top of shredding their military. And good luck rebuilding it because we wiped out all their defense factories and steel plants. But the media doesn't believe any of it.
You're facing an opponent right now in Iran that has
refused to submit. You seem optimistic now as you may be closer to a deal. What's different about this moment now than in other moments where a deal has seemed close?
Well, why do you say they refused to submit? You don't know that. You don't know what's going on behind
U.S. ships a few days ago.
Yeah, no, a few days ago. It's a long time ago. What's not to submit?
Yeah,
So they had a
48
Navy with
hours of news
159
cycle.
ships, and now every ship is blown to pieces, and their leaders are all dead. So I think we won.
No one really knows what the deal is, and no one knows if Iran's even going to sign it. Neither country trusts each other. They've taken Americans hostage, killed Marines, committed terrorism, and we've ripped up treaties and killed the Ayatollah. But the president's being realistic. He says it's still too soon to send Kushner and Witkoff. He'd rather just do it over the phone. Because, as you know, no one can predict what the regime does day to day.
We've had some good talks before.
Hey, Vendetta, how you doing today?
And all of a sudden, the next day, they're like, they forgot what happened.
Today, Wall Street erupted. The Dow shot up 600 points, close to 50,000. The S&P and NASDAQ broke fresh, all-new highs. And Brent crude down over $10 a barrel over the last 48 hours.
I thought we'd be down maybe 20%, and we're up. The stock market's higher now than when we started this war. And I thought oil prices would go to $200, $250. It's at $100 now. And I think you're surprised, and I'm surprised. But even if it went to 200, it would have been worth it.
The bulls are out on the street. Billionaire money managers say they can see victory, and it was worth it.
It shouldn't be a bipartisan issue, right? You have a nearly nuclear launch-capable Iran that we've set back in a very dramatic way. They've been the major driver of terrorism around the world. They're a fierce enemy of the United States. They threaten kind of global shipping, energy, et cetera. And now the president and our military are getting that completely under control. I think we're almost done. I think it's weeks as opposed to many months, or it's a few months as opposed to, it's not years. This is toward the tail end of a war.
You know when the fighting's over? The French show up. The Charles de Gaulle aircraft carriers just crossed the Suez Canal and go into the Red Sea. Meanwhile, great news for American sailors. The USS Gerald Ford is headed home after the carrier broke the record for the longest deployment since Nam. The blockade, though, stays until we see the gay Ayatollah's John Hancock.
We have it very much under control. The blockade is unbelievable. The Navy's been incredible. The job they did, it's like a wall of steel. Nobody goes through. In particular, the Iranians, they're not getting anything through one way or the other, so they're out of business.
Today, the Iranians tried to test the blockade, and it didn't end well.
Central Command says an Iranian-flagged vessel attempted to breach the U.S. naval blockade earlier today. CENTCOM says the vessel was warned multiple times before U.S. forces fired on it. The shots came from the 20-millimeter Gatling gun of an F/A-18 Super Hornet that took off from the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier.
The quarantine's already turned around 52 ships. It's airtight. And Project Freedom was showing progress before Trump paused it. In just the first 24 hours, 11 ships sailed safely out of the strait. It appears that Trump paused it as a good faith gift to the Iranians so they can save face to get a deal done. Watching the U.S. Navy let every single ship in the world out of the Persian Gulf except yours would have been too much to stomach. The president can always redeploy our guided missile destroyers like the USS Truxtun and throw up another protective bubble if the Persians go back to their little games. These Iranian peace shooters didn't do a thing. The Truxtun has artillery guns on deck, mounted machine guns, surface-to-air missiles, and torpedoes. Plus 400 sailors on board with Apaches and Seahawks circling overhead. Anything the enemy sends out, if it flies, it dies. If it swims, it sinks. Even though we can get ships out, Lloyd's doesn't want to underwrite a voyage under enemy fire. They have to have confidence it'll be smooth sailing. Once confidence is restored, and it looks like that's going to be done diplomatically, we think, we hope, the strait will open and prices at the pump will come down, way down. The Chinese actually helped move this thing along. They had no choice. For the first time since the war, Iran sent a delegation to Beijing. The Chi-Coms put them on a leash and told the mullahs to quit the strait shenanigans and take the deal. A week before Trump meets Xi Jinping.
President Trump has put out publicly and privately messages to the Chinese. Do not help the Iranians right now. We're trying to isolate them. We're in a war with them. Do not help them out. So the Chinese are very cognizant of that. They don't want to upset President Trump before this big state visit. So yes, I think that these things are all connected.
Sources say the president wants to end the Iran war before his visit to China, and the Chinese do too. Their economy is starting to crack, and with the strait being choked, they're looking down the barrel of an energy crisis, especially since we flipped their last black market supplier.
It's been a great thing for Venezuela. The people are really happy. They're dancing in the streets because they have a lot of money coming in through the big oil companies that are all moving in. I was with ExxonMobil last night. The chairman was here. And we're talking about Venezuela, along with a lot of them. Chevron, they were all here last night. They all want to go there and elsewhere.
China's lost Iran and Venezuela, and we're wargaming right off their shore. The U.S. Army's been test firing Tomahawk cruise missiles from Python launchers in the Philippines. The missiles as precise as they can be. One source says, if you want to hit a window from a far distance, it lands directly into that window. And the Japanese showing a little muscle. The Emperor putting on a show in the Philippines, too, sending some of his surface-to-air missiles in China's direction. So the Chinese don't want any trouble, and neither does Iran. It feels like we're close to a deal. I know it's felt that way before, but as the president says, we'll see what happens. And this just in, sources say Israel's not really happy there could be a deal. They hate the Iranians, don't trust them, never have, never will, and believe Operation Economic Fury is going to collapse the regime if we remain patient. So the next 48 hours should be pretty interesting. Chuck DeVore is a retired Army intelligence officer. Chuck, the deal, as it's been reported, do you think it's strong?
Well, certainly the deal is strong, Jesse. I think the big challenge, though, is the Iranian government unified? Are we really negotiating with the right people?
Yeah, we still need 115,
once the deal is
115
struck, are they
more
going to
subs
stick to it,
to
or do
5,000
elements of the
subs in
IRGC or the Basij or other elements of this dispersed Iranian rump government, do they decide to do their own thing? And that's why I think it's very important the president is keeping a fair amount of firepower in the region.
So what happens if that happens, though? Say they sign it, and they start making progress, and then it all collapses, and we don't have the firepower in the region. Maybe we have some blockade elements, but, I mean, do you have to go back in?
Well, again, I guess it depends on how quickly this happens. But, you know, Jesse, I like to remind people, just to get a little bit of perspective here, I know that this is difficult as we're dealing with this intractable regime, but let's go back just a few years. Look at President Biden. Look at what happened, the catastrophe in Kabul, followed by Putin invading Ukraine. Trump comes in, and it's like cleanup on aisles 2, 3, and 11. And so you have President Trump come in, Maduro's out, the Chinese are out of the Panama Canal, Cuba is almost Cuba Libre, and of course we're blowing up the drug boats in the Caribbean and the Pacific, and we're starting to get into the narco political regime in Mexico. So anyone that doesn't trust President Trump or doesn't give him the respect or the consideration that I think is due given his track record, I think that they would be sorely mistaken.
Yeah, he's definitely delivering deterrence. There's a new sheriff in town. That is absolutely true.
Adrian Wilkinson, welcome to Mike Shriver Ministries, right here on YouTube.
If the deal does get done, the strait reopens, and we get our hands on the uranium, which would be just absolutely incredible, are they going to give the commander-in-chief any credit?
Jesse, I don't see how they can, perhaps other than Senator Fetterman, who seems to be the last sane man in the Democratic caucus in Washington, D.C.
That's true, too. He's the last sane man.
They're just going to double down on all their crazy town stuff.
Yep.
It's really amazing to see just how far they've gone. Look, Jesse, the economy is hitting on all cylinders now. When the price of gasoline begins to go back down to just probably a little bit above where it was when the war started.
Hey, gas is
I
dropping
think
in
you're
Michigan.
going to see a
I mean, it went down to
tremendous amount of
468,
economic
I think,
activity
yesterday, or
that certainly the
469.
voters are going to see by the time the early ballots go out in October. So I'm still expecting that there's a pretty good chance the Republicans can keep the House and certainly the Senate.
That is a bold prediction. I have learned not to make such a bold prediction about the midterms, but we'll leave that up to you. Do you think if a deal is done along these lines, do you think Israel is going to swallow it?
Yeah, again, here's the challenge is that these regimes seem strong until they're not. And so Israel certainly has a lot of intelligence assets in Iran. They have a few different levers that they can pull. And the Iranian people are still pretty angry with this regime that killed, 40-some-odd thousand of them just a couple of months ago. So I think it's a complete wild card as to whether this regime survives the year.
They often collapse after the war is over. This could be one of those times where they could dig in and survive another few decades. No one knows. No one absolutely knows what's going to happen. We'll just have to follow it. Chuck, good to see you as always. Thank you.
Thank you.
Breaking news on the guy who tried to shoot Trump at the Correspondents' Dinner, plus the Obamas. Uh-oh.
Genius, I need a financial plan.
I have your new budget and financial plan ready.
I just moved. Why is this so high?
Found a lower plan. You'll save $35 a month. Switch now?
Yes. And find me a good espresso machine. Under 300.
Done.
Done. And transfer 300 from my savings to my checking.
Wow.
Done.
How convenient. Nobody wants to hear stupid commercials. Wouldn't it be nice to live in a society that had zero commercials? Oh, wait, I guess that's Netflix and Hulu and all those other people. Anyway, the Christian Conservative Voice will be launched next Friday. That is you could say it's my daughter work or my sister channel to Mike Shriver Ministries. Mike Shriver Ministries will always take precedent over news and politics. But many of you were wondering if I could eliminate politics and news out of the Christian Ministry channel, and I have heard your cries, and I have done that. I resurrected a project 10 months ago. I started, and I just left it dormant under the counsel of my pastor and another minister that I trust. They said focus strictly on Christian ministry, and now we're 115 subs away from 5,000. So it's time to start something new. But this will always take precedent. I will do this way more than I will do the news and the politics. The midterms, we can't ignore it. Don't be an ostrich. Get out and vote. Don't stick your head in the sand. Oops. Okay, well, I paused it.
Dinner 2 Saturdays back was motivated by the Iran war. Senior national correspondent Kevin Cork with more. Kevin.
You know, Jesse, Reuters obtaining intel docs that show, as you point out, the dinner shooting suspect and alleged Trump wannabe assassin was triggered apparently by the Iran war. Federal prosecutors, in fact, say Cole Allen wanted to fight back against the Trump administration, with a preliminary assessment by DHS stating that Allen had multiple social and political grievances. And that concluded with the conflict in Iran, and they believe that may have contributed to his decision to conduct the attack. Cole has been charged with multiple felonies and faces up to life in prison, and he remains in a D.C. jail tonight, right where he has been since the night of the attack. By the way, he's also been removed from suicide watch. We've been following that story as well. Also here in the nation's capital, more than a dozen Metro police officers are being benched for allegedly cooking the books when it comes to crime stats. You may recall the president warned about cops doing just that when he sent the National Guard to clean things up in D.C. Now, for perspective, in 2023, Jesse, there were 274 murders reported. And violent crimes like carjacking, robberies, and everything like that, break-ins, they're all soaring to record levels. But since then, the city's doing better. The president, of course, sent the National Guard in, and even the city's mayor has been evolving. changing tactics and strategies, she says online, and the city's crime rate is now said to be at its lowest point in the last 30 years. That is, of course, depending on whose stats you believe, Jesse.
It's true. I guess you just know when you feel safe. Thanks so much, Kevin.
You bet.
The Democrats have a problem. It's
Woohoo,
almost
114
halftime,
to
and they need
5,000.
subs. Their deep bench is so thin it looks like it got the fat shot. Newsom's a baby and his record's
we would have
in
hit it by
flames.
now if I
Kamala's
hadn't
a joke
gotten
and
sick.
she's old news.
I know that
Sleepy,
for a fact.
Burn Dog,
Or at
Slick
least
Willie, all
90%
hovering around,
sure.
what, 100? So once again, they're on their knees praying for the return of the Messiah, Barack Hussein Obama.
Barack
Usually after presidents leave the Oval, they hang up
Obama.
their jerseys in the rafters and take up a hobby like painting or golf or just drinking. But not Barry.
That's a hobby?
He's still out there election after
okay.
election, getting his hands into whatever he can. Local races, Virginia
No judgments here.
redistricting, saving
I've had my
Kimmel's
vices.
job. When are Democrats going to take off the training wheels, huh?
Necessary ones.
How long
but
is Barack
nevertheless,
going to
they
be
become
GM
vices.
and draft bust after bust? Hillary, Biden, Kamala, the list goes on and on.
That's a big list
Don't
of
tell
losers.
Michelle, but someone else is giving him a tingle.
Don't mean to be rude,
You look
but
at somebody like Mondami, who I
when
think
you
is
try
an
to destroy the
extraordinary talent.
nation the Lord allowed to be,
He wants people to be
you're
able
an
to afford
absolute
housing in New York. Well, you know, I would assume liberals in New York want the same thing. And so I don't worry as much about some of these issues within the Democratic Party.
Of course, she loves Mondani. It's
smart
like looking
move,
in the
Angela.
mirror.
Yeah, YouTube Premium is
Another
only like
socialist with a
what,
smile,
$15.99 a
a
month,
funny
but
name
some
and no
people that
record.
is a lot. I know.
Now,
I've been there.
Mondami can never be commander-in-chief because he was born in Africa, unlike Obama, who was definitely not born in Africa. So the
Barack
search continues.
Hussein
Where was
Obama.
Colbert born?
Miss Rush Limbaugh.
For the record, I think it's a stupid idea. How dumb do you think it is for people to say that I should run for president?
Well, you know, the bar has changed.
That is true. That is true. At times subterranean.
So
I don't have to limbo so low.
Let me put it this way. I think that you could perform significantly better than some folks that we've seen.
Trump didn't lower the standard. They did. Yeah, Democrats can get elected, but they can't govern. They open the prisons, the borders, and they just spend money on corruption. But they are compassionate, or at least they say they are. And for them, that's all that matters. I care too, but I mostly care about results. And Democrats haven't delivered.
So aborting
all they
babies
deliver
is
are
compassionate?
indictments.
Huh?
Obama says he misses the good old days when he used to take on Romney Republicans and just
This is
wipe
when I
the
say
floor
some
with
people's children.
I'd say I'd love a loyal opposition. I'd love a Republican Party that was conservative in some ways, that didn't agree with me on a whole bunch of stuff, but believed in rule of law and judicial independence and
I believe in ICE.
empirical evidence and science, and wasn't
Get the illegals out of Dearborn,
constantly
Michigan. Why are we not
tapping
there
into
yet?
our worst
That's what I'd like to
impulses.
ask the president.
Democrats charged Trump with 90 crimes and said men
Yeah.
could get pregnant. But go ahead, Barack.
Hey, I'm
I don't
pregnant.
think he's
I'm
going to
about
be
7
able to turn
weeks
back
in.
the clock. He wants to, though.
You know.
That's why his library is an
interesting to be
undercover
pregnant.
DEI university.
Jesse's
the Obama
awesome.
Presidential
Jesse
Center
is the
is
best
much
thing that
more
ever
than a
happened to
museum.
news.
It is an entire campus built to empower you. A place to come together, get inspired, and become a force.
Puke, puke, puke.
Barack's building himself a castle in Chicago. He'll be king. He'll train a legion of community organizers. It's not a library. It is a radicalization camp. And once you get in the door, it gets your email,
I like
it gets
meow
your
again.
ID.
That's awesome.
It's like the new DNC. Not really sure
getting
what's
better.
in the Obama library. His legacy? First black president, Obamacare, Bin Laden.
What is that?
Am I forgetting anything?
It's a lie.
Is the tan suit here? I'm asking if the tan suit is here.
Listen, I own that tan suit proudly, brother.
We have this. If you want to put this on display someplace.
I mean, I look great.
A shattered nation looked up and saw that. When you look back at the tan suit, what occurs to you?
Why?
Michelle wants him to
How
hang up
about
his
stupid?
tan suit, though. Step away from politics and spend more time with her in Hawaii. But Barack's hooked, and he's booked. He has TDS, and it's ruining his marriage. Obama says Trump created genuine tension between him and Michelle.
Trying to steal the spotlight. What is this?
How are you going to let another man create tension in your marriage, Barry? That's a you problem. And let's be honest, he doesn't want to hang out with her, and she definitely doesn't want him around either. Everywhere you turn, she's clobbering him.
I told my wife years ago, I know you remember, I said, babe, if you ever see me staring off into space, don't bother me, because I'm working. If you see me writing something down, I've already done the hard
I'm going to try that with Barack.
She's so disrespectful to her
Don't
husband.
bother me.
Kayleigh McEnany is a former White House press secretary and host of Saturday in America.
Oh,
so Barack's back.
Denise
Hasn't
Krause
gone
in the
anywhere.
house.
He's just
That's
back
a great
playing
idea,
puppet
actually.
master.
That's a beautiful
when's
idea.
this going to stop?
But they would just give the homeless needles to do their drugs.
For
I
all
mean,
of
that's
the,
what they did in California.
Kind of hype around Barack Obama.
For us
And he
clean
has that.
needles,
He's a great orator.
let's
I will
not
give
get him
him
help.
that. He knows how to give a speech. But for all of this bravado of being the kingmaker, it occurs to me, I'm not sure if President Obama was even eligible to run again for, let's say, a third term. He could win. Because the entire political model has changed, Jesse. What we just watched, the crafted lines, the beautiful oratory, that's of yesteryear. People want authenticity. They want a brand. They want someone they can relate to. They want someone like Trump who could sit down and just spitball for an hour or two with Joe Rogan. I don't know that Barack Obama could do that in the same way. And I don't know that the Democratic Party has someone that can replicate the Trump model, because I think the Trump model is the new model. And I think there are at least two people on the Republican side who have that it factor. I'm searching and with want for that individual's name on the Democratic side.
And why does he always say, oh, you know, I want to relax, I want to retire, but I can't. The Democrats need me so much. They keep pulling me back. I have to save them, and it's so bad. It's like, you know, she misses me, but like I have to save the country. What is that about?
He loves it. I mean, let's be real. To be president of the United States, there has to be a little piece of you that is craven for attention. And I think he looks and he watches President Trump at these briefings, commanding the airwaves, and he misses it. I think once you've been there, that's in you. So he can't put it down. And his attempts at being kingmaker simply don't work. Like when he ousted Joe Biden belatedly, paving the way for Kamala, giving his seal of approval, it hasn't worked. And the Democratic voters would be wise to wake up and say, this guy ain't it. He's not the person to find the way forward. He's the guy with the Soviet-style library that's checking IDs. Oh, wait, I thought we didn't check IDs, the Save America Act. Where's that, by the way? That's the guy you're left with. I would take the guy with the big, shiny entrepreneurial library that's about to be built in Miami. We've all seen the renderings.
God's decision
it's
is
a
in
new
the house.
and a brighter
Good to
way
see
forward.
God's decision.
He can keep the Soviet-style library.
Yeah, you know, he's good for raising cash.
Don't forget about our members only Friday night.
Him get near the convention.
It's just going to be a fireside chat.
Every time he touches
We're just going to hang out and talk
it
about
collapses.
whatever.
You know,
I think
if
that'll
it's
be fun.
Kamala
No
and
specific
Newsom and they're
topic.
slugging it out, you know what? Put Barack on a cruise ship and just sail it away.
Sail away.
It's
Oh,
only
wait, I
going to
can't
cause
sing.
more damage.
Doggone it. I wanted to sing that song, too. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. Put him on the cruise ship. Make sure it's a safe cruise ship. Keep him away from the Democratic primary. That's the best plan, Jesse. Not giving free advice to the left, but that's the best plan.
Okay. We're not saying he has to go on the cruise with Michelle. Just get out of Dodge.
Right.
I don't know why
Kayleigh,
Michael
good to
married
see you. Thank
Obama
you.
anyway.
Right.
We'll be right back.
Power, prestige. If you want to call liberalism power and prestige, I call it murder.
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I feel that I'm not getting the attention that I need, and it's a lot built up in my chest.
I've been there. I've done
I would
that.
just want
I've
you
got
to
the
listen
t-shirt.
to me more often and evaluate
Everybody needs to be
situations with
listened
me.
to, actually,
and
because everybody does
lead me
matter.
towards success.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
Eczema isn't fair, and it isn't your fault. But with Ebglyss,
Like I always say, a way to a woman's heart is through your ear, man. Pay attention to what she has to say. And don't just respond by saying, right, right, uh-huh, yep, right. Right. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. Right. Right. Oh man, that's probably my biggest pet peeve besides traffic in Lake City, which makes Labor Day my favorite holiday because all the fudgies and flatlanders go back home and I get my town back. But don't always say right. Yep. That I think that's so rude. Have the conversation. And if you can't talk at that moment, just say, "Hey, I can't talk right now. Let's get back to this another time." But don't say right, right, right. Uh-huh. Actually pay attention to what the person has to say, especially if she's a woman. The way to a woman's heart is through a man's ear and not through the stomach. Hey, Stephen Bard, how you doing, buddy? So, Stephen, we are separating starting next Friday. I'm separating politics news from my Christian ministry channel. And of course, this my Christian ministry channel takes precedent over my second new channel, which will launch next Friday, which is specifically news and the midterms. So I will have news and midterms separate from my Christian ministry. Come on, Jesse. Oh man, I'm sorry, guys. I rolled
feel
right back
sometimes
in.
if
I rolled right back into the fullness of the commercials. I wanted to get right back into them, and I wasn't paying close enough attention. I won't blame it this time on my cat, but I'll blame it for all the other times. It's all because of you. You. Where's your sister? How you're not even my I'm not your human. She's at school. Where's my cat? I should say, where's my boss? Okay, we got 1 minute of commercials left. And so, yeah, don't be rude to people. Don't just keep saying right every time they ask a question or start a conversation. Give somebody the respect and listen to what they have to say and respond accordingly. Don't be a jerk and just keep saying right. Uh-huh. Right. I find that to be one of the most annoying things in existence. And I noticed it didn't start until me and one other man out of 22 employees, 20 of them were women. Only 2 men were hired. It's like whenever him and I tried to talk to them, they were like, "Right, right." I asked him, I said, "Do you realize that they're always just saying right to us?" And he said, "Right." And I said, "Left." So whenever somebody gets in a conversation with me, all they say is right, I start saying left at everything they might say. And they're like, "What are you saying?" "Well, you said right. You won't give me any more conversation." So I just started saying left to counter what you're saying. Show courtesy. Pay attention. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Interact and unmute. Hey, Paula's in the house. You guys,
Democrats,
there
2 Republicans, all auditioning to replace Greasy. A big oil billionaire who wears the same plaid tie every day. Potatoes. And Joe Biden's, whatever his name
Dan
is.
Quayle. Remember Dan Quayle?
I nominated Javier Baccaria. You know, Javier Bashir, excuse me.
The first question was easy. Democrats have had total control for decades, and the state's crumbling.
Like for real.
Why do you deserve another shot?
Because Democrats are the ones that aspire to include everyone and not leave anyone behind.
California does need to make changes. The world is changing around us. We are seeing AI come and present real challenges with jobs. The pace of climate change is real.
I've been challenging my party for years because it's been Democrats that brought us here. But I can also challenge Donald Trump and say very clearly that he lost the election in 2020.
I will, on the first day, call a special election to close a corporate real estate tax loophole that's worth over $20 billion.
So, how do you fix it? Well, why fix it if Trump did it?
Let's focus on who's raising the cost of living in California the most, and that's Donald Trump.
That's just not true. We've had the highest gas prices on average over $2 than the rest of the nation for a very long time.
That guy's chief of staff, by the way, stole hundreds of thousands of dollars in campaign cash.
You see, that's what the Word of God does.
These people are
and
experts
that's what
at making money
and praise
disappear.
does. That invites
then
the Holy
Ghost. Then they spend what's left on new
but
breasts for bad
we'll
hombres.
just skip that in most
Congresswoman Porter, your thoughts on the idea of funding health care for undocumented immigrants statewide?
It's not the people's fault.
Yes, and
that's, by the way, what I think Californians deserve.
Porter says you're lucky.
Actually, no, I have not, but I'm glad you reminded me of it.
Why?
I will look into
that. Keeps the state
today
afloat.
These are Californians. They contribute to our economy. They pay taxes, and they're one of the only ways that our state has been growing in recent years.
But it could be.
The night was one big dog fight, so potatoes transitioned into a pussycat.
I need to look into it further.
I can't believe that on a stage with 30 minutes of interrupting and bickering and name-calling and shouting and disrespect for everyone up here who's stepping into public service, that anyone wants to talk about my temperament.
So, the reason why I'm separating politics and news from the Christian Ministry channel is because a couple people, and I'm glad they brought it to my attention, didn't want to keep that within the channel, and so of course my decision is what I make. I take advice, but then I'm the one that's got to make the final decision, being the content creator. So I decided to start the Christian Conservative Voice, which is all politics and news, and there might be a smidgen of verses to be thrown in there on occasion, and recommending the Christian Ministry channel. And so, it's going to be great. Hey, Jared, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you, Jared. Jared Bolton, first one that ever got baptized in Jesus' name, and it was 1,200 miles away, roughly, at Pastor Benjamin Kreitz Church, the only pastor that responded to my call in that area for a pastor that would baptize this guy the proper way, not in the titles, but in the name of the only saving name, singular, Jesus. Oops. Don't you hate it when
you were actually interrupting them too? I don't know why you want to act like you weren't.
Congresswoman Porter, first off, do you want to respond to that from Sheriff Bianco?
Yes, I did not interrupt. I did not go back and forth. Mr. Bianco, you've been very well behaved tonight, especially compared to CBS, and I actually appreciate it that you've been waiting your turn and following the rules. And I would appreciate it if everybody could do that.
The candidates had one job: prove they could protect the crown.
That would be
so
great.
They all lined up and kissed that big, beautiful
especially if you're
bag
baptized
of
in the titles.
One word to describe Governor Newsom's
performance. Of course, we don't deny Father, Son, Holy Ghost. That's obvious. They're just
performative
titles or ways he related to humanity.
Progressive,
game changing, creation, Son, and redemption. He fills our hearts with
incomplete.
God and spiritual
He's right.
action.
Newsom definitely can't finish anything, especially that $230 billion train to nowhere. But Gavin's wannabes, they want another round.
Who wanted
to be a Gavin? 2026. It's not even close to being done. And the estimated cost has ballooned to $230 billion. Mayor, your opponent, Steve Hilton, says that on his first day in office, he would kill this project, quote, stone dead. Would you?
No.
Pretty Boys bootlickers only.
So here's a link to my new
position.
channel. And it starts next Friday.
Will Trump
I'm not
be
sure
your
what
guiding
time.
principle in dealing with the president?
If he's going to attack California, F him.
Republican Steve Hilton didn't waste the
Can't
moment.
these
He hit
people
right
grow
back.
up and talk
just
like
like
a
the
normal
high-speed
person?
rail, Democrats had nowhere to go. Choo choo.
It's not Donald Trump who's given us gas prices $2 higher than the rest of the country. It's Democrat policies, which Antonia and all the Democrats here support. It's not Donald Trump that's given us the highest housing costs in the country. It's Democrat policies that all these Democrats support. Donald Trump is the president in all the other states of America where the cost of living is way lower than in California. Obviously, it is way past time for change in California.
Benny Johnson's the host of the Benny
Benny
Show.
Johnson.
Benny, what would be one word
I've never
you would
seen him
use
on
to
Fox. This
describe
is my
last
first
night's
time.
California debate?
Oh, dumpster fire, Jesse. But not just a dumpster fire.
I might have to go back and watch that. I forgot that was last night. I'm sick as a dog.
Ripping through the old rotted food after a bar mitzvah in the dumpster that's on fire, and it's just nasty. Why are you even fighting over this? Why are they even doing it? They're just why? It's like it's like the raccoons fighting over the trash in the dumpster. At this point, California is such a nightmare. How do you even defend it? And I think that's the ultimate question here, and that's why it's so funny to listen to Xavier Baccaria or any of them attempt to defend Gavin Newsom.
That's my new channel, guys. Please click that link and go subscribe.
It really is like Gotham, completely fallen.
I want to start with 100 to 1,000 subs before next Friday.
And just light,
no reason we can't.
Just light the bomb at this
Please
point.
Go subscribe.
Because California is such a nightmare. You got to ask the question, are you better off? And that's ultimately the question, not just for 4 years, 8 years, but for the last 20 years. That state has been in a psychotic death spiral. And I was just in California. I went everywhere from Beverly Hills to Skid Row, and we interviewed people. We were interviewing hobos smoking weed, and we interviewed billionaires that were trying to sell their house for half the price up next close to the Palisades. It's been burned down. And every one of them told me the same thing. They can't get out of California fast enough. Everything is nightmare fuel. And here's the one thing I'd say about Steve Hilton.
Yeah, you mean
who's a guest on our show regularly. Who
Benny
had
Johnson.
Just an amazing point about COVID and Dr. Fauci. He said, listen, California could really be used for good here. Nobody likes what happened during the COVID lockdowns, one of the greatest crimes against humanity of all time. California hit the hardest with the cruelest lockdowns, you could argue, and some of the worst decisions from a business and economic standpoint. He says the federal pardon for Dr. Fauci doesn't apply to states. And I could go after Dr. Fauci on a state level on behalf of Californians who were disenfranchised and had their human rights stripped from them. And we could actually prosecute Fauci. I'm like, man, that's a winning message. So many Californians would be behind that. And the final thing I'll say, Jesse, on this is it feels good right now being insurgent Republican. It feels good what happened in Indiana last night.
Are we still live?
Sticking it to the establishment in the Republican Party that have betrayed us time and time again, that's a great feeling. Ripping them out of their halls of power and casting them into the unemployment line, that's a great feeling. Democrats should do that in California. You've been betrayed by your leaders, rip them out of their marble hallways and cast them into the welfare lines and the food lines, just like where they want you to live. It's a great feeling. Democrats, you can do it in California. Get rid of your establishment.
You know, they're incapable of it because they can't even say no. You can be Mexican, break into the country, commit crimes, bill us for free breast implants, and the Democrats would be like, great American. That's what's wrong. They just have to say stop or no for once.
I guess we are still live.
And they're incapable of it. Real quick.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Jesse. And in your opening, you
guys,
said
please subscribe. We only need 114 more subs for 5,000 subs in only 490 days.
You could maybe just float them right back over the Rio Grande, right? That would be a great, that's just what could be a deportation tactic.
That's right. It's very safe, very buoyant.
Yeah, chat said it was disconnected on the YouTube side, but at least OBS didn't crash.
New rule for men. That's next with Jimmy Fallon.
Well, new rule, we can get pregnant, right? I mean, we can have menstrual cramps. You can watch guys doing that on YouTube all the time.
Albert Genius, can I get a financial plan?
You got it. Your budget and financial plan are ready.
All right. Transfer $200 from my checking to my savings.
Done.
What should I do this weekend? Any ideas?
How about brunch at Raffles, Morris's Rare Books and Comics, and a basketball game downtown?
How about hit the mute button so we don't have to hear stupid commercials? Hey guys, get YouTube Premium and you never have to worry about commercials again, ever. I think even my channel, my commercials, which I've never even seen one of my commercials. I have no clue what you guys are watching. You would even avoid it on my channel. So, and of course, commercials are it's just part of having a YouTube channel. Eventually you go monetized, but I don't make my commercials every 18 minutes or less. I mean, I might have once or twice, depending on how busy we were, but man, I'm glad I'm starting to feel better. I think I'm still a little warm though. Right, right. Here we go. Right, right. So yeah, my new channel is the Christian Conservative Voice. If you haven't subscribed yet, I want to start out with at least, I mean, I got 5,000 subs almost. There's no reason I can't start out with 100 to 1,000 subs. I would rather have 1,000 of the people from this channel sub to it before next Friday, rather than have 1,000 new people within a month, you know. I wanted to separate the Christianity, the teaching of the Bible, from news and politics, and that's what I've done. And this channel always takes precedent, by the way. The Christian ministry does. A second for the sound to kick back in. At least for me. I think you guys can hear it, but
Water's cooler. Let's bring in host of Fox Saturday Night, Jimmy Fallon. All right, Jimmy, first up, a rabid beaver in New Jersey attacked an 8-year-old, and the kid fought back.
Attacked by a beaver.
This ought to be cool.
Yeah. Look at this. Oh my God. Holy.
Wow, ain't that something? Oh, look at that beaver go flying.
Go back in.
Back you go.
The beaver.
That's how you know
Get
the kid
out
is kind
Jesus'
of
name.
Right. Because anybody who grew up in the burbs like us is either A, running for their lives, or B,
okay,
filming a video and getting bit. Because they want the viral video.
We're not throwing the beaver back in.
But the worst part of this whole thing is the liberal judges apologized to the beaver for how it was treated in custody. It's like, we're sorry, we should be looking after you. We don't like.
So Jared has a friend that has cancer. And that has got to be difficult. Jared, how old are they? At any age, it can't be easy, but especially for a child. Although studies show young children, they take it easy. They I don't know, they got that childlike faith. It seems like children can handle it better than adults in some cases. But nobody needs cancer. That's just it's just a way of thinning out the herd, I guess. I wouldn't be surprised if they do have a cure to cancer, and they just don't let it go because it's too much money in it. And for the love of money, not money, because money is an inanimate object. For the love of money is the root of all evil. Dear Heavenly Father, God, I ask you to touch the 64-year-old person that has cancer. Above all, Lord, let your will be done. But God, if it be your will, heal them. Strengthen them and take this cancer away and give the family comfort, because not just the victim of a disease or sickness. It affects more than just the individual. It affects their families. And Lord, give their families peace and the courage to help their loved one fight. And by all means, Lord, please, please allow this person to fight the cancer, unlike my mentor and former pastor, Ricky Ward, who decided just to die when it was treatable. So, Lord, I ask you, God, not to give this person that mindset. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Sorry about that, pastor, mentor, friend. You gave up when you taught me never to quit. So, there's that.
Like the way you were thrown in the lake.
Have you ever gotten rabies?
No.
You look like someone that's had rabies.
No, but I'll meet you halfway.
56.
I spent a lot of time at the Jersey Shore, so I have caught things from a beaver. Good night, everybody. Come on.
Oh, Snooki, if you're watching, we're sorry. Next
that kid
up, Dana
manhandled
White
that
has
beaver,
a
I'll
rule
tell
for
you.
Men. Watch.
When you're a man, you are the provider. You are the one that takes care of your family.
That's true.
You know, you are the
and no offense,
example
women,
for your kids.
But the Bible says the woman is the weaker of the two vessels.
You know, and your daughters.
And that's actually a compliment.
And you, unfortunately, you can't be that guy that's. I see these guys posting on social media. Oh, I had a bad day, and I'm so sad, and all this other crazy.
So unattractive.
Toughen up, dude.
It's
Toughen up.
to other males, let alone women.
I get it. We get discouraged.
Should men complain?
Never. Okay, and he went on to talk about, men's health. Men's mental health when we were growing up was called a six-pack. You had a long day, but as the head of a household, you have to inspire
confidence. Yeah, that's smart. Turned to alcohol.
My dad was a cop. Okay, he's getting shot at all day doing crazy stuff in a bad
neighborhood.
Killed
my brother.
He would come home and drink Meisterbrow, eat a stick of pepperoni, and jump in the pool. And the longer he spent in the pool, the rougher we knew his day was, but we didn't need to know about it.
Also,
when I was a cab, I was getting cut off and shot at myself. I wanted to inspire confidence, so I didn't come home and tell them I got cursed out by a woman who had a sock puppet on each hand, but that happens.
Alcohol can't make you do
You know
anything.
what I mean?
I hope that was a sock puppet.
No, it was a sock puppet, and I'll never pick up Martha McCallum again.
Okay. She doesn't want to be picked up by you.
No, never.
Next, a woman is protesting climate change by, obviously, stripping and strapping herself to a giant bell.
Oh, wow.
Ding dong.
Ding dong. Da, 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 da. Wow. You couldn't make this up in a book. You couldn't make this up in a book. Ruin your hearing, you hack.
Listen.
That was worth watching this whole thing just to get to the end of the show. It's so funny.
No. You know what I mean? She's $1.5 billion in debt right now. She's got to get out of the hole. I was kind of happy for her. It's so embarrassing. But when I watch that clip, you know what I think back to? It's the most iconic Trump line of the presidency, and we don't mention it enough. At the State of the Union, 3/4 of the way through, he goes, "These people are crazy."
Yes.
He goes, "They're crazy." And if you were to juxtapose that against this, you go, "No further questions, Your Honor." That's it right there.
All right. Have you ever rang a bell like that?
I have not. I would like to be the guy, they let you ring the stock market bell someday. I would like to get in a place where they let me ring that bell.
You actually have to have a successful company.
You know what? I'll take that. I'll even take the shot in stride. But think as a cab driver, how many coked up finance guys I've brought down to Wall Street in my day.
It's funny though, Jared.
I belong at that bell.
If you're driving,
and liberals never
surprise
surprise you to do so stupid
not
things.
Naked.
And the thing is, they're not really all that stupid.
Let's go. Fail at 2020.
They just don't know how to express
More
themselves.
prime time,
That's why they cuss. Let's see. This is about over.
I would just want you to listen to me more often. And
that's what I need. I need someone to listen to me more often besides saying, right, 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 yep, right. See, that's why I want a woman with some intelligence. If I ever do get remarried again, and I think I will, I want a woman I can have a conversation with, not just have sex with. I want a woman that has an intellect and intelligence, not just a beautiful body. I want a woman that can keep up with me when it comes to conversation. And they are out there. It's just a matter of time. See, intelligence, I think, is the most sexiest thing that a woman can have. Not so much her body. I mean, yeah, I'm a man. Listen, I don't sugarcoat anything. You know this. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't care. I'm going to talk to you plainly as a man would speak. I'm not going to be a pervert. I'm not going to talk disgusting. I'm just going to talk to you how it is. And intelligence and intellect is massively important. And of course, they must love God as much as I do, if not more. And of course, how can a person tell that? Their obedience to the word. Their obedience to the word. Their obedience to their husband. But nowadays, women are like, nah, it's okay. We don't got to listen to our husbands. Yeah, you do. God set it up that way. But he better not be a jerk. Your husband's got to love you as Christ loved the church and died a horrific death to keep us from going to hell. That's how much you must fight for your woman, men. Your woman is your everything. She is your right hand as far as humans go. She's your help meet, as the scripture says. All right, here we go. Engage. I got to start this from the beginning. Come on, laggy computer, stop.
And Trump pressuring Iran, telling Fox he thinks the deal to end the conflict could be reached within a week as U.S. negotiators await Iran's response to the latest proposal Could come today. We'll see. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino.
Morning to you. I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning at home now. Setting a course for peace, sounding positive while maintaining military pressure to try and keep the talks moving in the right direction. You got a U.S. fighter jet yesterday opening fire on an Iranian tanker trying to breach the naval blockade. It did not work, and that huge ship was stopped in its tracks at sea.
Nice. Meanwhile, the president remains laser focused on Iran's nuclear program, making that very clear yesterday at the White House.
This is very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon because as tough as they are, we want to keep them alive. We want to keep all of you alive. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't. And they've agreed to that, among other things.
Yeah, that was my message.
All right, new hour begins now. Let's start in Dubai with Lucas Tomlinson.
And I'm never alone.
With
Christ
the
is
reporting
with me.
duties yet again there.
Christ is
and
with
Lucas, hello.
But he wants me to be happy. He
Good
wants
morning,
me to have
Bill.
a
If that Iranian tanker had been full of oil, there would have been no rudder to take out because it would have been below the waterline. It's the first time in history
now that I got
an F-18 Super Hornet has taken out a tanker going to guns to do it. And U.S. Central Command out with a statement about the incident saying, quote, American forces issued multiple warnings and informed the Iranian-flagged vessel it was in violation of the U.S. blockade. After Hazan, that's what the ship was called, crew failed to comply with repeated warnings. U.S. forces disabled the tanker's rudder. Hazan is no longer transiting to Iran. So the F-18 went to guns, raking this unloaded Iranian oil tanker's rudder while trying to run the blockade en route to Iran. We don't know where she came from right now. It's not the first unique kill in history. Recall that F-22 that took out the Chinese spy balloon off the coast of South Carolina a few years ago. That Super Hornet launched from the 4-acre flight deck of the USS Abraham Lincoln on station in the Arabian Sea, enforcing the blockade. There are 3 squadrons of rhinos, as Super Hornets are also called, aboard Lincoln. Top Hatters, Black Aces, and Vigilantes. While top U.S. officials insist the ceasefire is holding, recall General Kane saying Tuesday, U.S. forces have come under attack more than 10 times in the past month. One day after Project Freedom was announced before scrapped, Iran fired a missile at a French-owned ship transiting the Strait of Hormuz after the French sent its only aircraft carrier through the Suez Canal and into the Red Sea. So as we await Iran's response to the American proposal to have Iran scrap its nuclear program, hand over all of its enriched uranium, and open the Strait of Hormuz, it appears China wants a piece in the negotiations, hosting Iran's foreign minister 1 week before President Trump heads to Beijing. So right now, there's more than 1,500 ships that remain stuck in the Persian Gulf, many loaded with oil and fertilizer. Typically, about 140 ships transit the Strait of Hormuz each day, Bill. Today, it's only a few hulls. Bill?
Okay, Lucas, thanks. Lucas Tomlinson leading our hour there in Dubai. Thank you, sir.
As the U.S. awaits a response from Tehran, Iran's nuclear program remains a key issue. Brian Hook, former U.S. Special Representative for Iran, is here. Let me just tee it up. Of course, we want all of your expertise, but this is from the Wall Street Journal editorial board on nuclear power restrictions.
You're kind of in a row.
The president has the cards to reject a poor counteroffer as the strikes in June set back Iran's nuclear program, and the U.S. blockade has the regime on an unforgiving clock. The task in any deal is to secure full nuclear dismantlement. And I guess we are awaiting right now the Iranians to come back. It's hard to tell who we're even communicating with.
Would gay you trust Ayatollah. He's got a great
whoever
meal
says
plan.
whatever they're going to say is going to be accurate?
That's a great question, Dana. With the Iranian regime, you never quite know what you're going to get. I mean, you could be sitting across from the foreign minister of a normal country, and that person could speak with authority on behalf of the government. But in this case, Abbas Araghchi, the foreign minister who you showed earlier meeting with President Xi, it's very hard to know how much power he has.
We're going to go to President Trump here in a minute.
Supreme leader. On top of that, the Iranian regime is talking amongst themselves with pen and paper. It's taking a long time to get a response back because they're not.
Bud Russell's in the house. Hey, Bud, did you subscribe to my new channel?
In the same room. So diplomacy is taking a long.
I'd love to get at least 100 to 1,000 new subs before I even go live.
To the point that you made, Dana, about like the Wall Street Journal, I think President Trump has amassed the economic and military leverage that he needs to get a deal to end Iran's nuclear program. And Iran now faces this choice between diplomacy or escalation.
Brian, it's been reported that they would get a period of time. I don't know if it's 5 years years or 10 years or 12
hey, Angela,
or 15.
if you're there, can you throw
I don't
my
even know if that's acceptable
new channel in the chat?
But there's this guy who leads the IRGC, and his name is Ahmad Vahidi. And a lot of us here in the U.S. are not familiar with him, but the former leader of the IRGC was taken out. And when you talk about the ability to communicate,
Give me a second here. I don't know, maybe this computer's on its last leg. It's really laggy. I've got it cleaned out, so I don't know what the deal is.
Okay, it was only a month ago where a group of these leaders were together and they were hit by the U.S. and the Israelis.
I think you get the idea.
Uh-oh.
So it's going to be.
They were like meeting under
June
trees,
14th, and
literally.
it's going to be great.
So these people don't want to get in the same room.
And it still went.
Room yet again because they could be the next ones to go. Would you accept a period of time on the nuclear program that would end the conflict and bring it to a resolution, knowing that window will close at some point down the road?
I think what you could have is a
They keep trying to run our blockade.
period of time for diplomacy. Maybe it's 30 days where Iran opens the strait and there is some opportunity for both sides to get the strait open. And then during this 30-day period, you essentially, the president still maintains all of his military and economic leverage, but that you then negotiate a deal that would end Iran's nuclear program and its missile program. You were never going to get there without this kind of leverage that President Trump has created. If talking nicely with this regime worked, they would have solved it under President Clinton. Yeah. But this challenge has eluded every single president since Bill Clinton, Iran's nuclear program. So I think the president is in a great position with this naval blockade. Iran is facing an economic cliff right now. They just had massive protests with 5 million people in January that they're very worried about reigniting.
They killed 45,000. Hey,
so
Jade's
I think
here.
if you get some period where the strait is opened and you start negotiations to end the nuclear program,
I think I heard about
path forward.
Brian, can you just give us 30 seconds on your thoughts in regards to the meeting with Xi
Jade, will you put
next
the
week
link
that,
up that
Trump
to that,
will have
and, the YouTube link, and then we'll go there right away.
Well, Iranian oil and oil flowing through the Gulf matters a lot more to China and President Xi than it does to the United States. They have a huge stake in getting this strait open. I've always believed that there is an opportunity to work with the Chinese to have them pressure the Iranians to make better decisions. Like, there's one thing we can't accept is for Iran to economically blackmail the world by putting a toll booth right there on the Strait of Hormuz. They would be making, if they charged $1 million a tanker, they'd be making $140 million a day.
Wow.
And so that's not in the interest of China or anybody in the world.
$140 million a day.
I think with this summit coming up, there's an opportunity to maybe engage China in the direction of helping to end this.
What's interesting about that, Brian, is that China is going to say it's not our war, but it is our oil.
Yeah.
And it has to be resolved. Thanks for coming back. It's great to get your perspective.
Love seeing you.
Yeah. Brian Hook.
Okay.
Thank you. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox 1.
There it is, Jade. Thank you, Jade. Your timing could not have been better, sister. Wait. Oh, yeah. Okay. It still works. I thought I accidentally disconnected us, but I didn't. All right, I got that coming up right now. And again, next Friday, I launched the new channel, which really technically is not new. It just sat dormant after only being live 2 days. Yeah. All right, copy. And here we go in about 10 seconds, maybe 15. Boom. And paste. So yeah, go click that link right there. The Christian Conservative Voice is my new channel. It's going to be strictly news and the midterms. My Christian ministry channel will always take precedent over
News
that.
now, a very
But
influential Democrat from Virginia, State Senator Luis Lucas, is at the center of a major FBI corruption investigation. Right now, in fact, agents are executing search warrants across the Commonwealth, including her office. Alex Hogan is in Portsmouth, Virginia.
All the way to the
Alex.
office.
Hi, Harris. So the FBI here telling us today that these are court-authorized criminal search warrants that they are issuing, and they're going into the building behind me. This is the office here in Portsmouth of State Senator Luis Lucas. You can likely see some of the FBI agents behind me. All of the staffers inside this building were told to come outside. I could hear them saying that they were not allowed back in the building. Throughout the last hour, we've been seeing the FBI come and go carrying boxes out of the building. Now, just across the parking lot next to where I am, there is a cannabis dispensary. We know that the state senator is associated with several cannabis locations and dispensaries. And what we're seeing there, a completely different scene carrying out. SWAT teams arrived with their weapons drawn, telling anyone in the building to come out of the building with their hands up. We also saw at least 3 people being taken away, taken into custody. First, they were put in handcuffs, put on the ground, and then they were taken away. So it's a slightly less large presence than we did see earlier, but there still is a good amount of FBI agents still here on the ground. Also, what happened within the last hour, the Senator Lucas arrived here herself. I was able to speak with her. I asked her what her reaction was to all of this. She told me she had no idea what they were doing here. I asked her about the different locations that they might be. She, in response, asked me what locations the FBI were at today. We know, according to officials, at least 10 locations are being looked at today. Harris.
Alex, great job getting her right as this was going on. Thank you. We'll come back to you if the news warrants on this. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox 1.
Come on, load up. We are going to go to El Presidente Donald El Trumpo, El Livo from El White House, and a Mimento. Is that how you say that? I know English and a smattering of Klingon, and that's all I know. It's live here. It's a little bit like it was earlier, but I wanted to get to Jesse Waters first. I'm going to start it all over.
Huge right now, specifically.
It's free. It's anybody in addiction.
Great video there with the nurse.
I have complete faith.
Gaethje.
Seeing the president already live. So we're going to go to the president from just yesterday. Not a lot of people might have seen this specific event because it was a shorter event, but a number of UFC fighters showed up in the Oval Office.
Yeah, you know, to me, it doesn't matter what Trump is doing. When he goes live, it's always a joy to watch. How many remember watching President Biden, a.k.a. the auto pen? How many remember watching him and thinking, oh, dear God, you feel sorry for him because he has all this cognitive problems and his Jezebel Jill. That's what I call Jill Biden. Jill Biden is Jezebel Jill because she wants to usurp the authority of her husband. And that makes her, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set a reminder for myself, and we're going to study every intricate detail about Jezebel and why women today shouldn't be a Jezebel. And there's more than just usurping. She would seduce the men of God and then have them killed. She painted her face to seduce them. That tells you something right there. I don't know why people can't be their natural selves. Why would you paint yourself? Why? Because of men judging people for how they look, and that drove women to makeup, not to mention Hollywood had everything to do with it. But I digress. Those are some hard teachings that I'm not afraid to tackle. A lot of men won't even go there.
And President Trump had this to say, and as soon as we see the live feed of today's event, we'll take you there too.
You guys ready? Yes, sir. Well, thank you very much. I'm a big sports fan, There are no people tougher in sports than the people behind me. These are the toughest people. I know them all. I know the football players. I know.
Did you guys watch this? Did anybody see this?
Come to the Oval Office. We give out all championships.
Has anybody today subscribed to my new channel? We've been putting it up.
We take the champions, and these are the great champions. And as you know, on June 14th, we're having a big fight. It's never going to happen again. Never happened before, and it's all of the best fighters, the best 4 fighters standing right behind me, and all champions. And it's going to happen right in front of the White House. Here's a picture.
Nope, nobody yet. Again. Say, guys, right here's my link. Let me know in the chat if you've subscribed to it. I got an idea. I'll start a poll.
Bad, right?
A new poll.
Championship belt. Dana White was here last night. Did you know that? He was here last night. He loves this guy. He loves all of them. Here's another one. This is another. They're going all the way out, all online. It's all people invited. Our country is invited to this. It's free. And you know, in the park right across the street, they're going to have, I guess, anywhere from 75 to 100,000 people. Free. They're going to set up 8 big screens, and they're going to have the fight. And then out here, we're going to have 4,000 seats right in front of the front door of the White House. The hardest ticket I've ever had, too.
Best live show on earth.
This will be the greatest show on earth. Is at night. That's all lighting and cover.
Yep, right here.
And I think you get the idea.
Got it. It's in the poll.
It's going to be June 14th, and it's going to be great. And
so I'll say this, and even if you don't like news and politics, just subscribe if you would, please. You support me on this channel. I would love it if you would and you don't have to watch, and I want to make it perfectly clear. News and politics will not trump the ministry channel. That is my baby. That is my calling by the Lord. And that will never be neglected in Jesus' name. I'm about souls. I'm about the kingdom of heaven first, then my nation. God, the Bible, which in the beginning, John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God, and the Word became flesh. So when you say the Word of God or the Bible and Jesus, they're synonymous one with each other. It's like saying the same thing. And so that will always take precedent over politics. I want to make that abundantly clear, and I will continue to do so until the channel's really taken off. And I want the news and politics to also be used to grow this channel and vice versa. So we're going to cover all of our bases, and there will be no news and politics in the Christian ministry channel. That is gone. Separation of church and state, you might say, from a certain point of view. So it's titled The Christian Conservative Voice. So Christian Conservative Voice, the CCV, if you will. The TCVV, whatever. Anyway, the Christian Conservative Voice. It's going to be fun. See, I love Christianity. Jesus saved my soul. He allowed me to continue to walk and reproduce. So I owe him everything. But I also love my nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And so please go subscribe. All the cool people are, and you should too, the Christian Conservative Voice, right here on YouTube. All right, let's get back to it. Engage. He's supposed to have the Brazilian dude here pretty soon.
This is a little different for these political people.
And oh, by the way, we're only 114 away from 5,000 subs on the Christian Ministry channel.
Real warriors. When we talk about
right here,
warriors,
Mike Shriver Ministries.
Cyril Gahn. These are all champions. I don't have to say champions, and most of you know, many of you know who they are. Cyril, great honor. Alex Pereira, I've seen him knock out a lot of people. That's what he does. He knocks out people. Congratulations on an unbelievable career. Wow. Ilya Topuria, who they say does not get tougher. So it's pretty much, I mean, that's it. They're very special. And a friend of mine, Justin Gaethje, who is just a fighter like you've never seen. You see the kind of pounding he'll take, and then all of a sudden it's over, and the other guy's not in good shape, right?
It's a crazy game.
Not in good shape.
Oh,
so these are the
this thing's
these are the toughest people. These are the greatest fighters in the world. They're all champions, and they'll be fighting against very tough people.
I'm not sure who they are. Some wrestlers, I guess.
I think you always go in thinking you're going to win, but they're fighting.
But
against
really, the reason why I'm here is to get.
They come from all.
He's covering the bilateral meetings with.
Ohio, that's right.
Oh, what's this?
Families, and it's not this district.
I didn't know this was here. I love J.D. Vance. Whether he runs for president or not is irrelevant. I'm always going to like that guy.
And then I want to recognize some of the great Iowa State lawmakers that we have. I will read their names here. We've got Senate President Amy Sinclair, President Pro Tem Ken Rosenboom.
My throat's so bad I can't do that.
We've got Lynn Evans with us. Where's Lynn? Thank you, Lynn. And we got Sherilyn Westrich. Where's Sherilyn at? She took off sick, I guess, today. But she's doing a great job. We're grateful to her. And then we got some Iowa House members, too, and I promise this is the last group. We've got Brooke Bowden. Where's Brooke at? Thank you, Brooke. We've got Heather Hora. Thank you, Heather.
I hope so, Jaden. I hope so. Yeah, him or Rubio.
We got Bill Gustav. Bill, thank you so much.
8 years of Vance, 8 years of Rubio, or the other way around.
We got Charlie Thompson. Charlie, thank you.
That'd be 16 years of staunch conservatives.
Derek Wolf, thank you for being here, Derek. Kevin Allens, where's Kevin? Okay, he's got the same cold that our other friend did. Stephen Bradley, where's Stephen Bradley? Thank you, Stephen. And finally, Mark Cisneros. Mark, thank you so much for your leadership, and thanks for being here.
I got an idea.
Look, I'm here today to talk a little bit about the stakes in November of 2026, because I think that we have done a lot in Washington, D.C. to be proud of. We're going to talk about it. But the fundamental question for us in this election is actually not any specific question of public policy. It's not any particular issue. It's fundamentally, do you want people in Washington, D.C. who fight for you, who fight for the people of this district, or who fight for corruption and fraud? Because I'm 41 years old, and for the first time in my entire life,
Jade.
I think we have seen a major political party in the United States of America completely go off the rails. They're not just talking about different views on taxes or on regulation or on the Clean Water Act, as important as all of those things are. They're talking about who does the government actually stand and fight for. When the President of the United States asked the entire Congress to stand for the simple principle that the people's government ought fight for the American people first, what did we see? We saw every single congressional Democrat.
They say they're having
hands.
another baby, so he doesn't want to be president.
You.
But
They
I don't
care about
that.
the people of this district. They didn't care about the farmers or the factory workers or the people who actually make this country run.
He should become president
because
to help
now
protect his
we
family
have in Washington,
and
D.C.
his daughter's
a Democrat Party that is so focused on illegal immigration, that is so focused on people who don't have the legal right to be here, that is so focused on fraud because so many of their friends get rich from fraud that they forgot to look after you. And whatever your political views, whether you're a sensible Republican, independent, or even a sensible Democrat, because I know we got a lot of those in Iowa, not in Washington, D.C. I think that you deserve to have a president of the United States and a congressman like Zach Nunn who fights for you every single day, and that's what he's been doing. Now, let me just give you a very concrete example of what fighting for you looks like. This is not abstract. This is not words written on a paper. This is real people's lives. And this is real dollars and cents. A few years ago, I talked to the owners of this factory who told me the great products that they were making. They were paying their workers a good wage. They were building a great business right here in Iowa. You know, this company was started in 2009, the year that I graduated from college. Sorry for anybody.
He's so young.
Makes me kind of young. But here's the thing. To start a business in 2009 was a tough thing to do. It was the middle of the global financial crisis. You had to take some real risk. And what did this business find? After building a great business, after paying hundreds of people a solid wage, what did this business find? That foreign countries, in particular the People's Republic of China, was dumping goods, undercutting the wages of the workers of this factory, and driving this place out of business. They were using cheap labor, sometimes slave labor, to try to steal jobs from the hardworking people of this district and this factory floor. And for my entire life, we had presidents and politicians of both parties who didn't do a single thing to stop it and said, oh, by the way, absolutely, bring those cheap goods into our country. Bring those things that were built by hands of slaves rather than the hands of our own workers. And of course, we knew that when they drove those factories out of business, then they'd come in and jack up the price right after. So what happened for 41 years? We all know the story. The factories closed down. My hometown, this is the story of my hometown, where I grew up in a community that was proud, where people built things, where new homes were being made. And by the time I graduated from high school, the manufacturers were laying people off. Those big, beautiful factories were shuttering their doors. And we never had a political movement that said enough is enough.
Yes.
Until Donald J. Trump and Zach Nunn came along.
Amen, young man. Amen. Isn't it good to be alive?
And you know what we said, the Democrats,
every
day they will tell you, they will fight against our policies to try to bring back American manufacturing. They will fight against our policies that try to fight back against those people who would dump that stuff into our communities. And you know what we say? We say that our tax policy ought to be pretty simple, and that's exactly what it has been. If you're building right here in Iowa, if you're making something right here in Iowa, if you're working every single day right here in Iowa, you deserve a tax cut, and that's exactly what we delivered with Congressman Nunn.
Not at this juncture. 4 more years. Dana Carvey really nailed Bush back in the day. He was so good.
But if you're a foreign country dumping that garbage into our country, if you're trying to undercut the wages of Iowa workers, if you're trying to steal...
I can because I can. And I just want to announce again for anybody new to the channel, next Friday night, I will be launching my the Christian Conservative Voice. All news, all midterms, whenever I'm live with it. My Mike Shriver Ministries always takes precedent over my new channel. Hey, Lazy H. Akers, welcome in. You should go subscribe to my new channel. The link is right above you. Your message there about the 60s and 70s. It's all midterms. It's all news. Where my Christian Ministry channel, which is my flagship channel, I will not be doing any less. In fact, I might even be doing more with that. Will always take precedent over the midterms and news. God first, then nation. The Christian Conservative Voice. In fact, maybe I will put that in the subtitle. God first, then nation. The Christian Conservative Voice. That sounds good. Back to it, Pruitt.
The jobs from Iowa farmers and Iowa manufacturers, you know what you're going to do? You're going to pay a big fat tariff before you bring anything into our country, because we're protecting the jobs of our workers and our people.
Come on, brother, preach it. I better not get too anointed. I'm still recovering.
And that's all this is about. When you hear the Democrats attack the Trump administration's tax policies, that's what they're attacking. They're attacking the policies that make it harder for people to steal your jobs, and they're attacking the policies that give you more money to keep in your own pocket. Now, I talked to, the factory owners just a couple of minutes ago, I should say. And you know what they told me? They told me that the working families tax cuts, the tax cuts made possible by Congressman Nunn, that they meant that their business had a lot more money that they could give to workers and higher bonuses and higher salaries, that they could hire more people, that they.
Is anybody else getting kicked out of my channel on accident, or not like a moderator's getting rid of you, but is YouTube making you leave the channel from what we're watching? I know that Angela's having problems. She had it happen 4 times now. Anybody else having that problem? Where you get booted out, you gotta come back in?
Create new jobs that didn't exist before. Isn't it nice to have a government that finally is fighting for you instead of fighting against you?
Lacey,
and that's
I'm
what we're trying to have in Washington,
Apostolic
D.C.
Pentecostal preacher, and we're about at 5,000 subs, and so I want to separate my Christianity.
Now there is so much I'm proud of, so much that is moving in the right
from
direction.
Politics. So separation
when
of church
I
and
was
state.
going around the campaign trail in 2024, one of the number one things that young people said to me, young Americans in particular, is that they couldn't afford to buy a home. They couldn't afford their rent if that's what they wanted to do. And you know, for the first time we've seen in over 5 years,
away
for 8 months running,
5,000 subs.
we have seen the costs of rent come down in the United States of America. Our young people are starting to get close. They're making progress. They're starting to get to the point where they can finally afford their slice of the American dream. And you know why we did that?
Dude,
and you know
Michael,
how we did it? It's actually not that complicated. A simple principle. American homes ought to belong to American families, not foreign investors, not foreign owners, and not Chinese investors who are buying up our farmland.
Oh, complete internet. Okay.
Again, it's not rocket science. It's a simple principle that if you have a government that fights for you, it can make your life easier. It can make it easier for you to start a business or to work at an amazing job. We didn't do anything that was
we need Kennedy Democrats back. If we're going to have two,
that was simple and common sense.
We need more like
and I think
the
that's
Kennedy
what defines
Democrats
the Republican Party
cared about
in Washington right now.
These hacks
is
don't
it's
care in the
simply
liberal
about
left.
common sense. You want to lower the cost of homes for American families? Here's a simple thing. Why don't you stop giving 30 million homes to illegal aliens? Why don't you seal the border and make sure those homes go to American families for a change? That's how you lower the cost of housing. If you want to make it easier for a young American to start a family or to get a good job, stop giving jobs to foreign companies and stop giving jobs to foreign countries and protect the good, well-paying jobs that exist right here in the United States of America, and that's what we did. And here's the final thing. When we talk about standing for you, again, whatever your views on a specific policy, there is maybe no more important issue than how about when you pay your taxes to the federal government. We just had tax day just a couple of weeks ago. How about you have a government that actually takes those resources as what they are? Your sweat, your tears, your time away from your family, and protects every single one of those dollars. And that's what we're doing by going after fraud, finally, in the federal government. And let me just give you a couple of examples. We had let fraud become so rampant in this country that people were able to get rich not by creating something amazing, not by employing something, not by building something beautiful with their hands. They were able to get rich by defrauding every single person in this room. And they were taking money that should go to America's low-income families, to America's elderly, to people who are struggling in our communities. They were stealing it out of their pocket and stealing it out of your pocket so they could get rich.
My new channel launches next week, the Christian Conservative
in suburban
Voice.
Minneapolis. It's actually a national program, but it was taken advantage of in suburban Minneapolis, where what we do is that we make it possible, the American people in their generosity make it possible for the parents of young children who are autistic to get access to after-school services. And I think that's a cool thing because Americans, we take care of one another. But you know what happened? That money wasn't going to the parents of autistic children. That money was going to Somalian fraudsters. because somebody figured out in the illegal immigrant community that if they went around and said that all of the children in a particular household had that particular problem, then they could collect a lot of money from the federal government. And so what happened? You paid your taxes, those people got rich, and the families who needed those services never got to access those services. They were stolen from, and you were stolen from, and your government didn't do a single thing
American
about
people
it until Donald J. Trump and Congressman Nunn came along.
We are 10 subs away from 4,900.
What we did is very simple. We went to the state of Minnesota and said, we want you to audit the people who are getting access to these funds. And if you're not willing to confirm that the people who are getting these benefits actually deserve these benefits, then you're not getting another dime of federal money.
Brother.
We cut them off. And that's exactly what we got to do.
You've been cut off. No mas, no mas.
Ladies and gentlemen, people have asked me, I'm the leader of the fraud task force in Washington. And people have asked me, is that a hard job? And I say, well, let me think. Finding fraud in the federal government, it's kind of like fishing in a barrel with dynamite. Every week, I get a report from the task force. We have our weekly meeting, and I am shocked every single day by the things that we find. Just one of the all-stars on our fraud task force is our great Agriculture Secretary, Brooke Rollins.
Lazy minus 2. It's really slow. I just got this page back up after 5 minutes.
And Brooke has found out that we've got 355,000 people on SNAP benefits receiving double benefits, that we've got 186,000 dead people getting SNAP benefits, 186,000 dead Americans getting food stamps right now. Now, I know the fake news media is going to say that the big headline from this speech is J.D. Vance proposes that we take away food stamps. That's what they're going to say.
Oh, yeah, that's what they'll run with.
I actually think that we should take food stamps away from dead people. I am guilty of that.
That's
I think that's a reasonable thing. I also was talking to Brooke backstage, and she said, you know that there are people who have this is not a joke. There are people who have Lamborghinis who currently receive SNAP
ain't that crazy? That's crazy.
Huh, that's interesting. I'm a pretty conservative guy, but I would think that like 95% of the United States of America would agree that if you are wealthy enough to afford a Lamborghini, then you are wealthy enough to not receive SNAP benefits from the American people. Is that common sense? And I could go down and down the list. We just served 22 investigatory procedures. The Department of Justice, we went from discovering what happened in Minneapolis to serving 22
I've been lagging bad all day.
Subpoenas so that we could go after the fraud that's happening in Minneapolis. And we did that in just 3 months. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, when we find crime, those people are going to go to prison for defrauding you, because that's exactly how it should be. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, my friends, is we know that under the Biden administration, Iowa farmers and farmers all over the United States of America were hit, and they were hit hard. What we've done using the president's trade authorities and using his incredible trade policies is that we have doubled the export market for Iowa farmers in just 18 months. And that is an amazing thing. Because what happened for years is that people would dump their agricultural products into the United States of America, but said, you're not allowed to sell great Iowa product overseas. Well, we flipped that on its head. We told all those countries, you're done dumping that crap into the United States of America, and if you don't want to pay a higher tariff rate, you better let Iowa farmers sell into your country, and every single one of them have let Iowa farmers sell into their country. Again, it's amazing what happens when you got a president and a congressman who's fighting for you instead of fighting against you, and that is the record that we've had over the past 18 months.
Great honor and respect, especially if they saw combat. But either way, they still deserve our respect. Someone's got to make that machine run. And even right now, my OBS studio is lagging. I can't get that stupid red-green border off. You should just click right off.
So let me say a couple more things here. So one, I was flipping around in my notes here because I've been trying to find the name of the person that Zach is
plastic. What's this?
Because we're gonna make fun of her a little bit. Now
you want to walk on my keyboard.
Now here's the problem. You know, I'm sure. Well, I don't know anything about her. What I do know is her voting record. I know what she has chosen to prioritize, and it's not you, and it's not your families, and it's not this district. Because here's the thing. There are problems and there are challenges. You know, one of the things I'm proudest of is that under the president's leadership, we had American families about $1,300 richer from the day that he took office until today. That's between the working families tax cuts, that's lowering the cost of rent, that's all that stuff combined. Now that's the good news. Let me give you the bad news. The honest piece of this is that under the Biden administration,
I still can't do nothing.
Under the Biden administration, the average American family lost about $3,000. So on the one hand, we got a great record to brag on. On the other hand, because of the hole
I can't
that
even
the Biden
minimize my
administration and
dumb
the
window.
Democrats put us in, we got a lot more work to do. Okay?
And I just virus scanned
we
it.
recognize that work. We're excited about that work. That's why you sent us
I
to
think we're all
Washington,
having
D.C. That's
internet
why you
problems,
sent Zach to
but
Washington, D.C. was to work on these
as long
problems.
as we can hear it, that's
we know
what
right
matters.
now that we've got a lot of Iowa farmers that would love to sell more E15 into the market, and we're fighting every day to help them. Now, I said that. I did not even see the E15 crew we got over here. I need one of those T-shirts. But the congressman has got legislation that's working right now, and we're working on it every single day because, number one, we want Iowa farmers to have access to more markets, but number two, we want everybody, all of our fellow citizens across our 50 great states, to benefit from what's made right here in Iowa. That's why we're fighting for E15. We also know that a lot of our farmers are struggling with high fertilizer prices. I'm aware of that. As the President of the United States has said, we got a little blip in the Middle East. We got to take care of some business on the foreign policy side. But you know what we're doing simultaneously? We're working with the congressman, and we're finding ways every single day to make sure that you guys and the farmers of this great state get access to the products that they need. We're working on it. We're working on it every single day. Now, when I see Iowa farmers who need to get that E15 to market, what is Zach, you're gonna have to help me out with her name here. I lost my page here. Okay. All right. Okay, there we go. Sarah Trone Garriott. There he is. I'm on the wrong page here. So while Zach is fighting to make sure, for the benefit of Iowa, but frankly for the benefit of the whole country, that we get more E15 into the market all over the United States of America, his opponent voted to push biological males in girls' sports as early as kindergarten. Okay, while he fought very hard for the working families tax cut to make sure that you got to keep more of your hard-earned money, and why you guys, in fact, are going to have the biggest tax refund season, or starting to have the biggest tax refund season in American history, he was fighting for more money in your pocket. She was voting against banning gender transition surgeries for minors. She was voting against schools giving parental notification if students start changing their pronouns. Now, we all hear that and we all think that's pretty crazy, but recognize that not everybody agrees with us. Here's the thing. Even if you don't think that's crazy, why is that the priority of a woman who wants to represent you in Washington, D.C.? Why isn't she working to increase your take-home pay? Why isn't she fighting for the farmers to get more of that E15 all over the United States of America? Why isn't she fighting to lower housing costs for the people of this district, the people of this state, and the people of the United States of America? And it goes back to the question that I asked at the very beginning of this discussion. We have two parties in Washington, D.C. And I hate to say this because I was, raised by blue-collar union Democrats. My mama and papa, they said that, back when they were voting in the 80s and 90s, the man and woman who raised me, Mama and Papa said, We're for Democrats because Democrats are for working people. And I don't think that's true anymore, my friends. And it's a heartbreaking thing. It's heartbreaking for a kid who came from a Union Democrat family to realize that Democrats these days, they seem to care more about gender transition than they do about you keeping more of your hard-earned money. And I really do believe this, that there are Democrats like my mama and papa all over the great state of Iowa, but I hate to say it, and I hate to break it to you, but there are none left in Washington, D.C. The Democrats in Washington, D.C., they want to trade stocks, insider trading for money, just like Nancy Pelosi did. The best part of the State of the Union address is when the President of the United States called out Nancy Pelosi for her stock trading, and I look over at her, and she has got the sourest look I have ever seen on a human being's face. It turns out Nancy Pelosi likes nothing less than being called out for her insider stock trading. You know, we're just talking about that, the State of the Union. You have this beautiful 6-year-old girl. You may remember this. It was a few months ago, but it was a very revealing moment about who our respective political parties stand for. Because this little girl had been shot by an illegal alien, but she had survived. Miraculously, she was in amazing condition. She was a sweet, just a really cute kid. And, you know, I'm the father of a 6-year-old boy. He's actually here with me. He's backstage. And this girl was so proud. She was proud to be there in the chamber, and she gives her dad a big hug. And the Republicans all stand and cheer, and the Democrats all sit on their hands. And I remember thinking to myself, what is wrong with you that you cannot stand up and cheer for a 6-year-old girl who survived an assassin's bullet? What is wrong with you that you cannot vote to give more money in the pockets of Iowa farmers and Iowa factory workers? What is wrong with you?
Great to see Gamer Hayes with us. Now that I got my microphone down, you can hear me. Gamer Hayes, good to see you. And Lazy Acres.
But you fight every single day for illegal immigrants who have no right to be in the United States in the first place. And what does it say about a political party that they
Gamer
have
Hayes, I'm starting a new channel
against our anti-fraud efforts than they ever did to protect your dollars and to protect the benefits of the people who use those benefits? My friends, this is not a normal election. This is not a normal political environment. This is a contest between a party that wants to take all of your money and give it to illegal aliens, and a contest between gentlemen like Zach Nunn, who fight every single day for you. And I have a simple question here, which is, do you want somebody who votes to give your money to illegal aliens? No. Do you want somebody who votes to raise your taxes?
No.
Do you want somebody who supports defrauding you and taking money away from poor kids so they can give it to the fraudsters? No. Then do we want crazy far-left Democrats in Washington, D.C.? No. Here's what we do want. Do we want somebody who fights for you every single day? Yes. Do we want somebody who has put more money in your pocket? Do we want somebody who gives E15 all over the United States of America so Iowa farmers can profit from it? So what do we want? We want Congressman Zach Nunn, and you got to get him to Washington, D.C.
I just put the link up. It's above, Gamer. The Christian conservative voice. No Bible. I might throw some verses in there when, you know, I see an opportunity, but I will not teach and preach in there. It'll be strictly news and midterms, but my Christian ministry channel will not be neglected.
Let me just say one more thing, my friends, and then I will hit the road.
No politics,
you know, like I said, I've got my 6-year-old son back there.
Ministries.
And the backstory of why, by the way, I started in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
We flew from Washington to Ohio.
It's the
I voted in Ohio's primary
separation
today.
From church and
From
state
Ohio,
now on my channel.
That's right.
Yeah.
The media asked me who I voted for. None of your business. Went from Ohio to Oklahoma City to do a fundraiser
I
for
think
the
that
Republican
is
National
ruder
Committee.
than me asking
and then
the
I came here to be with all of you this evening.
Just saying
you know,
none of your business.
I can't wait to tell my
That's
wife
way
when we get
ruder
home
than the person
that
asking the
watched
question.
About 9 episodes of X-Men.
All you got to say is,
and my son has
you know,
eaten 4
I don't feel like telling
cookies.
you.
She's going to be very
That's
pleased.
way more polite.
Going to be very pleased with the vice president. But here's the thing.
Got so much
kind of
garbage
just
in the
worked
way.
out. I wasn't planning this, but
Stuff I
I've
don't
got my
even need.
six-year-old because last week I took his little sister
But they do have
on a
uses
trip, and he
still.
was feeling a little jealous. And you know, when he's a kindergartner, it's not like missing schools. No offense, but one day at kindergarten is not going to cause him any problems. So he came out with me today, and we've had such a good day, and it's just been an amazing thing. I always enjoy coming out and doing events like this, but to do it with your 6-year-old son by your side is really an amazing thing. But as it happened, when we landed here in Des Moines, or at the airport there in Des Moines, we met a couple of Gold Star families from Iowa. And a couple of you probably know this, maybe all of you know this, that in what's going on in the Middle East, this operation in Iran, Iowa has borne a heavier burden maybe than any other state in the union. This great state has lost about half of our KIA, and I know that you all will join me in saying that we love them and we're proud of them and we're praying for them every single day. Thank you.
Yeah, I have 15 to
but also
about 80
on the
years
tarmac,
old.
a couple of Gold Star families met me. A couple of families who've
on
lost
the analytics
people
part, I
just in
think
the last
mid-aged people
9 or
is
so
what I
months.
have the most
one
of.
in Iran and then one in Syria about 9 or so months ago. And I was talking to them, and one of them told me I had no idea.
Hold
I
on,
didn't,
hold on, me,
I
go
didn't
ahead.
plan to see them, but they were here, and of course
Click
I was
on that
honored to
link
see them.
right
It's an
there.
amazing
Angela
thing
put a link
as the Vice
right
President
above
of the
your
United
message
States
that you
to
just
meet
posted.
the parents and the families of the people who put on the uniform
that's
and
Angela's
sacrificed their
channel.
life for this country.
She's got a great channel,
And so
but
I'm
my
always
channel,
happy to do it,
I
always
can't even
honored to
type
do it.
because the stupid
But
thing's lagging.
one family, and I won't use their name, I don't know how political
you're
they
still
are, if
young.
they're political at all, but they told me that their
67?
son's birthday was today.
Wait till you turn 51.
And
You'll understand what age is then.
So I get in the car
I
with
just
my little
turned 51.
6-year-old, and I look into those big eyes. His eyes remind me of his mother's eyes.
I can't even type.
And I
this
think
thing's
to
lagging so
myself,
bad.
what an amazing blessing it is.
Can somebody
to
put
be
the
able
link
to be
to my new channel
a
up
father
so
in the freest and
Lazy
most
H.
prosperous
Acres
country
can click on it
anywhere
and
in
go
the
subscribe?
history of the world.
I'd appreciate it.
And
I actually started that channel 10 months ago, but the day after, I let it sit dormant, waiting for the time.
I thought
there
to
you
myself,
go. There's
what
the
would
link.
I say? What would
Appreciate
I say
that, Lazy.
if this beautiful 6-year-old boy got older and decided, like his dad, to put on the uniform of his
108
country,
away
like so
from
many of you here decided
5,000,
to put on the uniform of his country.
only 8 subs
and I thought to
away
myself,
from
on the one hand, I'd be
4,900.
so proud of him. I'd be
I'd say
so
by end of
proud
day
of him.
tomorrow,
But on the
we'll be
other
at
hand,
5,000.
I'd be so terrified that what happened to those two families would happen to this boy.
Yeah.
And it hit
I
me
have a sense of humor.
that every time we lose somebody, every time somebody goes overseas and sacrifices their life, every time that a person gives the ultimate sacrifice to the United States of America, we often read about it as a line on a newspaper or online, but there's a father,
Hey,
there's
Randy's
a mother,
in the house.
and there's
Folk
a grandma
Rock.
and
The
aunts and uncles
Randinator.
and a whole crew
The
of
Randmeister.
people
The Sultan
who love
of
them
Rand.
the same way that we all love
The
every single member of our
Randinator.
family.
The Randanewski.
And you take that love and you set that
Rambo
on one side,
Randy. Good to
and
see you, Randy.
consider the balance
Rainbow
that
Randy.
all
I
of
like
us
that one.
owe. Because on the other side,
My gym teacher used to call me
is
Rambo
we have to
Bird
meet their
because I was like
sacrifice
only
by
5'2".
carrying something forward that they can't carry forward. We have to make this country worthy of that sacrifice. You remember that movie, Saving Private Ryan? It's one of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very
I love
end,
it.
right
I own it on
before one
Blu-ray.
of the soldiers takes his last breath, he looks up and he says, "Earn this."
When I could afford
What he
Blu-rays.
means is all that love, all that was taken away from those families, all that was taken away from so many of the people who've put on the uniform and sacrificed for this country, we have to earn it. Now, so much of that is how you live your life. So much of that is, Congressman Zach Nunn being a good husband and father and his beautiful family here. I think, what, you guys have 6 or 7? 6. She is a saint, Zach. She is a saint.
Oh, maybe
Part
I
of
can
that
type
is
now.
how we go to work and treat
Wouldn't
our
that be nice?
employees and what we build and make with our hands and with our minds. Part of it is how we go to church and give back to our community. But part of how we earn that incredible sacrifice given to all of us is by making this country's politics and government worthy of the people who put on the uniform and will never see their loved ones again. And part of what we have to do, my friends, is every single day, we have to send people to Washington. I'm not saying you have to agree with every single issue. I'm saying that you got to send people to Washington who wake up every single day and recognize that they fight for you. That's how we honor this sacrifice. That's how we make this country great again. And that's how we make 250 years of American history and American patriots proud. God bless you guys, and thank you for having me in Iowa.
250 years of American exceptionalism. Nope, I better. Well, computer's lagging, so I cannot even mute the song, but they will nail me.
All right, so the Vice President, J.D. Vance, speaking to a crowd in Des Moines, Iowa on Tuesday, in case you missed it, and we are still live right now. We've been live since 10 this morning as we are still awaiting the open meeting there at the White House. At this hour, we're told President Trump is reportedly
Well, if my computer would stop lagging, I could. What I'll do is just try to grab you the direct link from the channel, directly from the channel. There could be a problem within that.
Now, officials tell
but,
ANI the delay is because Lula
my computer
requested
wants
to
to lag,
meet
so
with
here we
Trump
are.
Before speaking to the press.
I can't even minimize my window.
So it's a waiting game of sorts right now. We'll take you to our nation's capital as soon as we see the live feed there at the White House. In the meantime, let's go to our recent interview with White House Deputy Press Secretary Abigail Jackson. And again, if we see that live feed at the White House, we'll cut right to it.
That's not
and in the meantime, let's go to Abigail.
Yeah,
let's go to
I'll get you that
1600
link.
Pennsylvania
I won't
Avenue.
end
White
the
House
stream
Deputy
without
Press
giving you that
Secretary
link. I'll tell you
Abigail
that
Jackson
much.
joins us once again live. Thanks so much for joining us, Abigail.
Yeah, great to be with
Woo,
you.
27. We're hitting it. We're going to hit 100.
We finally
and it should be
are
more
at
like
the point
1,000
where DHS is
by
fully
Friday.
operational. What's your reaction to what was the
I think
longest
1,000's
government
a little bit
shutdown in
stretching
U.S.
it,
history?
but hey, you got to reach for the stars,
as you and I
right?
have
Your
discussed
attitude
many
determines your
times at
altitude.
this point, frankly, it's ridiculous that the Democrats
idiot.
decided
Why
to
do
play
people- why
politics
do
with
they
the
gotta talk
safety and the
stupid?
security of the American people. And while you're right that the shutdown has
There you
ended
go. Try that
for the
one.
majority of the department, there are
Lazy
still
Acres. Try that
long-lasting
one.
impacts
I
that
love
the
your name, by
Democrats
the way.
have
Your name's
inflicted
awesome.
upon the department. Over 1,000 TSA officers totally left the workforce. It's going to take time to hire and train new TSA officers. Security preparedness ahead of events like America 250 and the
I got my
FIFA World
task
Cup were put
manager
on the
up,
back burner.
but
The
I
Coast
can't
Guard
even
had
click
to
cancel
literally
on it.
turn the lights off at some of their
Oh, well.
stations
No
across
sense
the country
complaining.
because they couldn't pay for utility bills, and FEMA disaster relief funds were nearly depleted. So now DHS is kind of left to pick up the pieces and deal with all of that, and the Democrats are just moving on and pretending like they never did this.
Hey guys,
It's
don't forget
unbelievable to
Angela
see it,
Child
but
of
it's
God's
great
new
to see
channel.
DHS
She has
more
the
at the fully
greatest
operational,
music. She
standpoint.
writes the lyrics.
Shifting gears now, let's talk
and
about a
puts
number of
them
things
into
from
the
Illinois
software,
and Tennessee. I understand
and the
Governor
software
J.B.
does the
Pritzker
rest,
added again,
but her lyrics
spewing
are what matter.
ridiculous
They're
political
powerful.
rhetoric. And then on top of that, according to Axios, the Democrat representative of Tennessee's Stephen Cohen
ridiculous.
recently said, quote, if we had a different president, we wouldn't need the security measures that they
The only thing
are
I can
proposing.
see right now
In fact,
is
if you
the
just stayed in the White
Alt-Control
House, we
delete
wouldn't
screen.
need the
It's
security
black.
measures.
Says
End
lock,
quote.
switch
What's your
user
reaction
sign
to all
out,
that?
task manager.
I mean, I think it's deeply
There it goes.
concerning that the Democrats are doubling down and tripling down on their insane rhetoric, inciting
Yeah, they're
violence
nuts.
against the president, when this is a man who has survived multiple assassination attempts in the past few years. And, you know, the most recent one at the White House Correspondents Association dinner was, you know, a very, very short time ago. And already we're seeing Democrats come out and blame the president for the attacks
How do you
against
blame
him
the
by
president for
deranged
that?
radical leftists.
How
I
do
think
you
it's
blame
just
him for
shameful
that?
rhetoric from the Democrats.
Oh,
and it
there
just
you
goes
are.
to show you that they will never learn and they will never stop.
It seems like at the core of this, I
No,
mean, it's,
because
you know, good
get
versus
Trump
evil, but
is their
specifically truth
absolute-
versus lies. And isn't it good to be a
That's all
part
they're
of
about.
a White House on the right side of history? Of course, there's lots of work to be done, but still, it's better to be there than under like Kamala Harris.
Oh, absolutely. And not only would I say that, but I think the American people would wholeheartedly agree with that. They have a president in office who, despite these attacks from the Democrats, from people like J.B. Pritzker, who say, you know, we want a sanctuary city. We don't want federal law enforcement to remove violent criminal illegal aliens. The president is not backing down. His administration is not backing down. One of the president's key promises was to instill law and order in the country when he was elected, and he is doing just that in Chicago and also across the country. Look at Washington, D.C. He's taken lots of action in our nation's capital to make it safe and beautiful again. And so all of these Democrats spewing dangerous, hateful rhetoric, it's just noise for this administration, because ultimately the president keeps moving ahead and delivering for the American people.
So let's shift from Illinois with Pritzker and then this representative in Tennessee to Connecticut, where the governor recently signed a law there that ICE agents aren't allowed to wear masks. How ridiculous is that?
I mean, again, I think it's totally misguided from the Democrat Party that instead of focusing on the criminal illegal aliens who are terrorizing American communities, because yes, while the border is closed, we are still dealing with the consequences of Joe Biden's border crisis and the illegal aliens that he let into this country. And instead of focusing on that, Democrats have somehow turned their attention to the brave law enforcement officers who are trying to clean up their streets. It's totally misguided, and really it's dangerous because ICE officers are already facing a huge increase in attacks and assaults against them because of lies like this from Democrat leaders. And Democrats should be working with federal law enforcement to make their community safer, not against them.
Exactly. So question for you. So the president on Truth Social just yesterday posted a logo of NICE instead of ICE, right? So the National
Yes.
Immigration Customs Enforcement. So I'm going to put you on the spot. Thank you again for joining us. But is that going to be the new name?
Well, I wouldn't get ahead of the president on any announcements he may or may not be making. But I will say, and what I think the American people agree with as well, it's pretty nice, the work that they do. I can't think of anything nicer than getting dangerous criminal illegal aliens out of American communities. And we're really appreciative of the work they do every single day.
Awesome. I agree with you there. And also on top of that, another logo prior to that post, the president re-truthed on Truth Social, and then I saw Eric Trump's post, and then on X as well, the new logo for Donald J. Trump International Airport. How nice will that airport be with all the upgrades? Think about the restaurants, the music being played in the terminals. Your thoughts about that?
Well, look at everything that President Trump touches and sets his mind to, and it turns out beautiful. Look at the work he's doing to the White House and to D.C., making it beautiful again. And I think the American people can expect just the same there. And how awesome is it that the American people want to honor our president and highlight his accomplishments even while he's still in office? It's great.
I might actually. I don't know how to turn it back on, though. I don't remember doing that.
White House Deputy Press Secretary Abigail Jackson. Thanks
did.
Again for joining us here on Right Side.
Great to join you.
Awesome, Lazy. Thank you for subscribing. It's all news. It's all midterms.
All right, still on standby for the president's
that way
meeting
this
with
channel
the
can
president
stay
of Brazil.
focused
Of
on
course,
the
we're
Word
hearing
of
that
God
the two leaders
above all
are actually
things.
meeting right now
John
in the
VA
Oval
is in the
Office,
house. Good to
behind
see you,
closed
John.
doors. That was at the
And where
request
John
of
is, can't
President
be
Lula of
far
Brazil.
behind.
Before the two, the leader, of course, of Brazil and our
all right,
president,
let's see.
speak to the press. We'll have all of that live once it happens. As soon as we see it, we'll go to it. Now, that was, of course, Abigail Jackson, the White House Deputy Press
found
Secretary.
me in a seventh day.
Of
I
course,
know, I
great
did,
Carolyn
didn't
Levitt
I?
was
Yeah.
on maternity leave, and we
It
saw
was
the other
me
day
and Jaded
Secretary of
American
State Marco Rubio
talking
at the
back
podium.
and forth
Quite
about
awesome
what
to see
they were
that.
talking
A
about.
little bit of fun, too.
And how the
as we
Seventh-day
saw.
Adventists don't
In the
believe
meantime,
in eternal damnation.
I was on Grok the other day,
They
X,
believe when you hit the lake of
and I
fire,
was, making a few
you simply dissolve, you
images,
evaporate
like a few minutes
into oblivion.
Of DJT
It doesn't
Airport.
even
so
say
I saw
that in the
this, and I know we
scripture.
showed this to you yesterday.
Blind
Just showed it to you
Bartimaeus
quickly
could read it
again, those
before
of you
Jesus
that
even healed
weren't
him. That's
watching
how
yesterday,
blatantly
thanks
obvious
again
it
for,
is. Just
streaming
like
in
Jesus'
today.
Day baptism.
But there's one of the photos there,
Right
maybe
there.
outside the airport. Maybe
But
this
nah,
would be
we'll
something
just
you'd
ignore
see
that, right?
inside
That's
the
not
airport.
important.
And then my favorite one of
Yeah,
all of it
Lazy.
is
All
that.
right, we got Lazy with our
boarding
channel
pass.
now. He or she is
AI-generated
67
boarding
years
pass
old.
with the DJT
From
airport
Ohio,
code
and
there.
we are proud to have you
Now,
with us.
obviously, it's a fake boarding pass. It was created on AI, and right now,
I can't even
it's
type
still not until July that you'll actually be able to see the DJT airport code if you're going on one of the sites out there. Maybe you're flying to Florida, that kind of thing.
If
That was kind of
hyperlinks
fun.
are
But in the meantime,
like
let's
putting
get back to
links
what's
in
going
there,
on today.
that
At
would be
this hour,
active because
again,
we've
President
been doing
Trump
that for a while.
is
If
reportedly
that's what you
holding a
mean,
closed-door
I might
meeting
misunderstand
with
what you're saying,
President
though.
Lula of Brazil inside the Oval Office. This is per a DC-based reporter with Asian News International. Officials tell ANI the delay is because Lula requested to meet with Trump before speaking to the press. So it's a waiting game of sorts right now. We'll take you to our nation's capital again as soon as we see that live feed. In the meantime, as you guys know, it's the National Day of Prayer.
And if you guys would like to
It's
donate to the
also
channel, you
National
can.
Nurses Week. That
We do
started
super
yesterday.
chat,
That
super
goes until the
stickers,
12th.
and we
I
also
don't
do
usually know what
Cash
every week
App
is
if
for
you
every
have
kind
it.
of industry
So just so you
out
know,
there. But this time,
I don't normally talk
a little
about
bit close
money,
to home because my
but
wife
on
just
occasion,
delivered our newborn
I do.
child.
After
and the
all, it's
nurses were
monetized. It might as well.
awesome there for my wife and for my son. So
And you guys have been awesome on your
here's a little
donation,
video
by the way.
that I
We're
saw
such a
just
small
recently.
channel.
They actually, during Nurses Week, during the shift changes at the hospital in the Southeast, they put
I
red
grew up
carpet
in,
down,
well, I didn't
some
grow
of
up
the
in
local
Cleveland,
law
Ohio,
enforcement
but
hold
we
up
lived in
"Thank you,
Cleveland,
nurses"
Ohio.
signs. So this isn't just, oh, cool, that happened.
My
but
parents were in
genuinely,
Cleveland.
thank you to
They moved
the
to
nurses out
Maryland,
there that,
where I hatched,
day in and day out,
and then they
do
moved
great work.
back to Cleveland.
This has nothing
Then we
to do
moved
with what
up
happened
to Lake
there
City,
with the
Michigan
COVID
in
days. We'll talk about
1980
that
when I
stuff
was
and
5.
all those horrible positions people were put in. But the point
And now
is,
I'm at least 3/4 of the
specifically,
way
though,
to the
at the end of
grave,
day,
because mid-age is
nurses,
technically
great rock
40,
stars. Let's take a
not
look at that
50.
video.
I don't know who came up with that garbage. That's not true. I'm a realist, I guess. But you know what? If you're young in spirit, it doesn't matter about your body. If you're young in spirit, that's what matters. I can't even mute anything. I'm stuck in OBS.
Awesome stuff. Saying thank you, nurses there. So it just came together seeing that. So
I also
just
have
got
the
some
best
video of it, and
moderators
there you
on
go.
YouTube.
Looking live there, of course, at the Thomas Jefferson Memorial
my
in
friends,
Washington, D.C. As
and
soon as we
they
see
know
the live
how
feed
to
to
moderate.
the White House,
They know
we'll
what
take you
they're
there to
doing,
the
for
Oval
sure.
Office. But in the meantime, we're getting ready for America 250, Freedom 250 coming up. Actually, in
you
touch
should
with
have been
some of the
here when
people
it
at
was
Freedom
just
250
me,
to get some
when I didn't
interviews
have
going
any
as we get
moderators
ready
yet.
to
Holy cow!
celebrate
I went through a
our
lot
founding,
back in
our
the day.
250 years young here in
For
this
one
country,
person
as of course the
to
automatic
be
camera
teaching
just
and
kind of moves
preaching.
around there. Now on that side of the water there, across from the Thomas Jefferson Memorial, is
well, you can
the
if you want.
MLK Jr. Memorial. And then, of course, all around that area, you have the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial.
Paula, do you
the
have my
Jefferson
email
Memorial,
address?
and on. So, yeah. Anyway,
Angela
so what
with
we're
a
seeing is
$5 super
a number
sticker,
of
right?
things
I think that's a
happening
sticker.
across D.C., around the country. A lot of
I need to
news in the
reboot my
24/7
computer. I'll
news
tell you that.
cycle,
I
but
can't even type.
Let's talk a little bit about President Trump.
I'm halfway
as we
through
are
typing
knowing that he
Lazy
is the
Acres a message, and I
45th
can't even get the
47th
cursor to
president
show
of
up.
these United States. And of course, we know President Trump has done more than any other president.
Yeah, we don't do foul language in here.
That's,
and you're not
I
going
would
to
say,
pick
a
on
fact.
women either.
What other president in our lifetime?
And you're not going to talk like a
has more
pervert.
been
None of
done,
that. We don't
for,
tolerate that stuff.
The country. And we're talking since 2015, 2016,
Everything in moderation.
17,
Paul
wins.
Coastal, welcome
2020,
in. That is true. Do
wins.
everything in moderation.
Even though
and be content
we saw what happened
on
in
what you
2020.
do
In
have.
2024, he wins. He was an outsider, right? And is an outsider. From that golden escalator ride at Trump Tower in New York City to the 2016, 2020, and 2024 presidential election landslide victories.
I thought it was bad being trapped in my own body, but I can't even do anything with my channel.
A lot of the speeches and all of the speeches, all of the great wins over the years, all of the fight he stood for, of course, with We the People. There is plenty yet to be done to save America, but of course, he's the one that
there
really
we go. I finally
started
unlocked
that slogan or that motto. Of course, we heard that from Ronald Reagan, "Make
Nothing.
America Great
What's
Again."
a motto
demanded
with
President
you?
Trump take that to the new
Get the joke,
high
Marlon.
gear. So outside of "Make America
Preachers
Great
can
Again,"
have
of course,
senses of
America
humor.
First,
If we
the Tea
don't,
Party movement,
it's going to
We
be
the
hard
People,
to be in
all
the
those
ministry.
things
Because when you have to deal
were
with
all
serious
about,
things,
at the end of the day,
you hear things
freedom.
and see
And
things
that's
that
what
break
we
your
wanna
heart.
see in this country.
No
so we
doubt.
want that Save America Act passed. We
So
want
when you're not
Tina
having to be
Peters
serious,
to be set free.
maintain
we
a
want
sense of humor.
The Constitution to be the
Even
law of the land.
soul winners
Again,
are the most important
this
thing
is
in
all
a church.
stuff that you know, I
that's
know,
what's
but
that's the people
I'd
in the
rather
middle,
talk about
not on
this
the
than
platform,
sometimes
not
these
at the
people
back
talk about all
door.
these
They've
different
already
stories that are
proved they
happening
could
out
be
there,
soul
but
winners.
really at that 30,000,
But
33,000
the
foot
most
view,
important part of any
you
church
really want to see the country
is in the
just
middle.
have what
It's
we've
the
had over
people,
the years.
because that's who
Freedom
brings
this nation.
people in,
Our
as well
First
as the
Amendment
ministry
rights,
does too.
Our Second Amendment rights. the Constitution, not some old dusty paperwork or on parchment paper, but a living, breathing document, just as the Bible is.
Let's see here.
So that's what we're looking for. That's what our goals are. And of course, we're standing
Here's
by
my
right
email.
now to see President Trump here. And there's a lot, that we want to see.
This is my official
we want to see
personal
accountability.
email.
We want to see transparency, all the things. But as we're covering these events, of course, talking about
well, here's the thing about privacy in the internet. Anybody
Brazil,
right now
at the
could
White
type
House,
in Michael Shriver,
right
Lake
now
City,
in the Oval
Michigan.
Office, according
My
to
address
reports.
would pop up. It's
What
like,
kind of
how do you hide
conversation is happening
anything
right
now?
That's a question.
I know that Norton
We'll
gives
see
protection
what
from
will
that
President Trump and
security
President Lula tell
software.
the press and tell us when they show the live picture.
So if any of you want to email me,
Lula
that's my
asked,
email
according to
address.
reports, again,
And
from
I do
Asian
respond to
News
emails.
International, one of the reporters
Sometimes
there
it
in
takes me a
DC,
minute, but
Lula said, "Hey, I want to meet with him before we do
I am
this,
so
this thing in
busy,
front of
but
the
I'm not
world."
too busy for the people of my channel.
So what topics are being brought
And
up?
I appreciate all of you.
We see
Got the best
facts,
friends,
we see
the
the
best
evidence,
moderators,
we see the receipts that the Brazilian people
faithful people to the
love
Lord first, then to the
Jair
channel.
Bolsonaro.
Of course, your
His
family's
son
before me.
Is running for office coming up
and you're
in
welcome,
October
Paula.
of this year as well. So interesting to
It's
see
not
some
about
of
my
that
stupid
dynamic
reputation. It's about the people.
Just like our,
and that's what
just
ministry
like
is. It's
our
not,
country,
it's
we
not
want
about the
freedom in our
individual's
nation, right?
reputation. Are you kidding
The
me? If you
same with
put
the
your
free
reputation
people of
into
Brazil.
that,
They want to be free. They don't want a leader over them that is.
you're not
against
putting
that.
God first. You're putting yourself
Common sense
first.
stuff. That's what I
Trust
love about
me, I've been
common
through
sense
13
is you don't have
pastors.
to be the
I've
smartest person
seen
on earth to
everything,
understand it.
including my own
It's
parents
okay.
pastoring.
Common sense, God, family, country, right?
I grew up in the Pentecostal
And
church
we fight
from
for
birth.
all of those
That's all I
things.
heard was scripture, church, 3 times a
Spiritually,
week.
lawfully,
3 times.
legally.
You
As
can't
I
get
heard
some
from,
people to go once a
Alex
week.
Jones the other day, I watched a video and he was saying, we got to fight that way. And I'm like, you know what? That's great. That's perfect. Legally, lawfully, and spiritually.
Let me see.
Through hard work, through prayer, through dedication, through getting out the vote. Also, guys, if you missed it, I interviewed Mike Lindell earlier in the broadcast. Now, it was around 10:15 this morning. It's now 1:25 as we're standing by for the president here in that live feed.
Today, in fact, I'm almost ready to get off of here.
We usually don't do those style format interviews.
The FBI raids on Senator was initiated by the Biden administration.
But, it was a really good interview in the sense of just to hear from Mike on so many different things out there. Everything from his gubernatorial
I wonder
run
what that's
in
all
Minnesota
about. Maybe a little revenge
salvation
tactic.
story
Maybe
through
they're not
being
getting
saved
along
by
so well.
Jesus because of all the things that he was involved in and just
And
going from darkness to
sounds
light.
like
talking about Tina
see,
Peters,
okay.
talking
Let me see
about
if this
Rudy
opens.
Giuliani, talking about the Save America
I tried to
Act,
open
talking
it a
about
minute
My
ago,
Pillow, talking
like the
about
last one you
lawfare,
sent me, and it wouldn't
and
open.
talking about the Bible and prayer. So the interview, if you'd like to check it out, if you're just joining us
I wouldn't
now,
be
or you've been
surprised if
watching for
someone's
past
trying to
maybe
mess
20
with the
minutes,
internet that's
if you
able
get an
to, because
opportunity,
today's a National Day of Prayer.
please go ahead
But shouldn't
and
every
maybe
day
replay that
be a
interview
day of prayer?
and check it out.
Didn't the Lord
as
say
we
pray
are
without
live
ceasing?
right now here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. And if you want to see the perspective of what I see here at Right Side,
come on, open.
what
You're
I'm
so
looking at
close.
right now, just
you know
go
you want to do it. Come on,
at
open.
Matthew Alvarez on True
There he
Social
goes.
or at
All right.
Matthew US Media on X. I took a photo, not that kind of camera. We don't have those anymore, right?
So
Took
we're
a
going to
photo
do
with
this
my
video
phone
that Jade
and,
sent me.
Posted it because I just wanted to show you kind of what we see here. I don't have a
Begins with breaking news. I'm Janet.
camera, but behind it there is a TV monitor. So those
Okay,
of
so
you
what
who
we're
are
gonna
into maybe some
do
tech or
is
TV
we're gonna
kind of
just-
production, that kind of thing. That's what I'm looking at.
I mean,
So
Trump
you
is
check that
live
out if you'd
today,
like,
but
as,
it's not a
we are
huge
standing
thing.
by
He's
here.
just,
It is
you know.
approaching the bottom
So
of the
what we're
hour,
gonna
so what we
do?
can do now is take a commercial break. We'll be right back. And again,
Yeah.
if even in the middle of the commercial,
That
if
guy's
we
gotta
see a
go.
live feed of the White House, we'll take you right there. We'll be right back here on Right Side.
Welcome. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this link up, and we're going to watch to see what happened with that, because that's pretty cool. You know what that reminds me of, Jaded? It reminds me of the scripture where it says, if Satan be divided by Satan, how can his kingdom stand? Listen, I get it. It's politics. It could go either party where there's division. But if you look at the Democrat Party, it's imploding. That means it's exploding from the inside out. And this video, which I'm going to get up here in the doohickey here. Oh, now that I'm not connected to that web channel, I'm flowing smooth as silk. However, silk flows smoothly. I don't know how that works, but I like the saying. It's like being sick as a dog. I don't know how sick a dog gets, but I'm getting there. Actually, I'm getting better now. I peaked last night. All right, here we go from Jade. Ow, that's abuse. She loves me, though. One of my 2 tortoiseshells. They have a following on the internet themselves. Why is this thing lagging? Stop lagging. There we go. Here it comes. Let's see here. Let's get the stuff off the bottom there. Man, lagging bad time. And my mother-in-law, when I was married, I'm now single and on the market again. But she used to say bad time all the time, and it drove me nuts. So I kind of made fun of her.
13 News Now at 4 begins with breaking news. I'm Janet Rhodes.
And I'm Connor Reel. There's a new development in today's FBI raid at the Portsmouth office of State Senator Louise Lucas. Sources tell ABC News that this investigation began during the Biden administration.
Yeah, it involves allegations of potential corruption and bribery tied to marijuana dispensaries.
Our crews have been in Portsmouth since agents got on scene this morning. Madison Schlegel is live there now. Madison, how is the community feeling tonight?
What's this? What is this? What is that?
Concern is what we're hearing for Senator Louise Lucas from those community members who are watching that raid unfold today. For much of the day today, this parking lot behind me was filled with agents. And as you can see, those agents are still here doing much of that work, that investigating that they said was going to happen right here at Senator Louise Lucas's office and a business that was right next door. So this is the scene right now, but we want to show you what it looked like a little earlier, too. So we only saw federal agents here, no local law enforcement. So Portsmouth Police was here briefly today just to scan the crowd of bystanders, but those officers left a while ago. But what we have seen here are FBI agents in both Senator Louise Lucas's office and the cannabis outlet, which is right next door. So we know that back in 2022, Senator Louise Lucas announced that she was opening this cannabis shop up. But for those who are out here watching that raid today, they tell us that they came out here to support Senator Lucas and the work that she's done for the community.
We are definitely aching. The city of Portsmouth has gone through so many trials and tribulations. We have the tolls, we have things that are going on in the city, and the person that is here to try to represent us, now she is being federally investigated on something of allegations which we don't know of.
I'm actually the cousin of William Chapman, who got killed by the Portsmouth police. And Senator Lucas was the first one that stood behind us.
Captain Kirk.
So when I heard it, it broke my heart.
You broke my heart.
Now, some of those people that we've spoken with today tell us they saw the FBI put some people in handcuffs and took them away. We've reached out to the FBI to get more details on that, but they haven't been able to release any more information. On top of that, we've also reached out to Senator Louise Lucas's office to get more information or comment about this investigation. We've not yet heard back. Live in Portsmouth, Madison Schlegel, 13 News Now.
Okay, Madison, thanks for the update. And we just got a statement from Governor Abigail Spanberger's spokesperson. It says, quote, the governor is aware of today's law enforcement operation in Portsmouth. In the absence of additional details, the governor will not be commenting on a federal investigation at this time. And we'll have more reaction from Democratic lawmakers coming up at 4:30.
Okay, everybody, I'm going to go for now, but what's this? Interact as U.S. Attorney. Oh, well, I thought I was going to go for now, but not forever. This cat is abusive. The tail. Ow, you're so mean to me. I don't get no love. My other cat doesn't beat me up like this. You'll know abuse when you're getting black and blue marks from your cat's tail. Let's see. Play. There we go. It might take a couple seconds, but it's going to play. I'm just really laggy today. Oh my gosh, this is 38 minutes long. Nah, we'll bring it up next time. I'll just leave it right here. All right, guys, I'm going to go for now, but not forever. I do got to rest my voice because tomorrow I'm going to take off like a rocket into outer space. So I should be live at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow, if not 10 a.m., somewhere between 10 and 10:30. I'll probably set it up so you guys can click that notify me button if you will when I do get it up. I also have the members only set up right now, so please go hit notify me if you would there. I also have our guest and friend of this channel, very close friend of mine, Pastor Benjamin Kreitz, 5 p.m. on Sunday. That's already set up. Let's see, Bud says you can't sell THC beyond the legal amount, that the state law. I heard that they were rated for that. Oh, were they, Bud? Okay. Yeah, my son works for a marijuana distributor in Cadillac, Michigan. They sell weed right out of the store. I think they can have a total of like 2 grams or something in your car if you get pulled over. I think it's grams. I don't know how to figure all that stuff out because I don't do it, but it's not that I haven't before when I was younger, but not much. Not much. Altering substance. I think all of us have probably tried it at one time or another. Um, it's not something to be proud of, but we're human and we were young once. We even do stupid stuff as adults. I mean, I was backslid for 7 years. How dumb could that be? But I was. And now I'm back with Christ for nearly 10 years. Yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead and go now. Paula, email me. God bless all of you. And I will see you back here at 10:30 a.m. unless like a new war starts somewhere tonight. So, guys, and do we still have, let's see, now that I can type. Okay, I think Lazy left. Okay, guys, I'll be back in the morning. And never forget that Jesus Christ is the Alpha, He's the Omega, He's the beginning and at the end, or the end. He is the one true God, and His name is Jesus Christ.